I am moving that the Dearborn Heights City Council call to order to the meeting at 6:05 p.m. Madam Clerk, could you please take roll call?
Yes, Hassan Ahmad.
Here.
Moby Dun.
Here.
Nancy Breyer. Here. Robert Constant.
Here.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell. Here. Hassan Saab.
Here.
And Tom Wenzel. Here. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk.
You're welcome.
Next up, we have the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to ask that our police officer who's with us today to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you to our Dearborn Heights Police Department and our officer that is with us today. Next up on here, we will have resident tribute by Councilman Chair Pro Tem Ahmad.
Honorable Council Chair, elected officials, city officials, and member of our community. Before we embark on today's tribute to an extraordinary life, I invite you to turn your attention to the screen where a collection of pictures unfolds, capturing the essence of the remarkable individual we gather to honor, Faye Awada. Council Chair, if possible, if you can call for a moment of silence for Faye Awada, please.
Can we have a moment of silence, guys, on behalf of the family and for Faye Awada, please?
Thank you, Council Chair. Thank you, everyone. Now, let us join together, not just in remembrance, but in the celebration of Faye's remarkable journey. Born in the village of Mashara, Lebanon, Faye immigrated to the U.S. in 1960. Standing as the third eldest of 12 siblings, her early years were marked by challenges, especially as a young mother. But her determination and resilience steered her path toward education. Faye, a proud resident of Dearborn Heights for over 15 years, became the first in her family to pursue higher education, earning a Bachelor of Science from Oakland University. Her successful journey as a licensed social worker and the founder of the United International Services showcased her commitment to serving and uplifting her community. In her illustrious career spanning 4 decades, Faye left an indelible mark by assisting over 500,000 families. She shattered stereotypes and glass ceilings, emerging as one of the first few female entrepreneurs in Michigan. Her impact extended far beyond her business ventures, earning her the Community Spotlight Award for her unwavering dedication. Today, we stand united to present this certificate of recognition to Faye Awada, an acknowledgement of her as a source of inspiration. She was a bridge builder, an advocate for education, and a compassionate soul dedicated to the service of others. Though physically absent, the legacy she leaves behind continues to shape the fabric of our communities. May this certificate symbolize not only the recognition of Faye's achievements, but also a collective commitment to embody the spirit of service and resilience that defined her remarkable life. As I invite her son Tariq Awada to accept the certificate on her behalf, let us honor the memory of Faye Awada and strive to continue the legacy of compassion, understanding, and community service that she so passionately embodied. Today we are joined with her son Tariq Awada, her brothers Ali and Steve, her sisters Jamili, Maggie, and Kathy, her niece Fatmi, Sheikh Jafal, and extended family and friends. Tariq. Council Chair, would you like to be the honor? On behalf of the City of Dearborn Heights City Council, tribute in loving memory of Faye Awada, in recognition of her exceptional dedication and selfless contribution to our community, we hereby present this certificate of recognition posthumously to Faye Awada. Her unwavering commitment to making a positive impact on the lives of others will ever be remembered. Signed by Council Chair, myself, and all the council members.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. What's up? Yeah. Any family or wants
If the family wants to all just join up, we can make it quick.
Anybody wants to join?
Quickly get a photo.
Oh.
It's okay. It's digital. I could retake it.
Councilman, do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, please.
Just 20 seconds.
Yeah, please.
Thank you. Good afternoon. I'll just make this real quick and brief.
Please, take your time.
No. Good afternoon. I want to thank Mayor Bill Bazzi and the City Council of Dearborn Heights, and a special thank you to Hassan Ahmed for recognizing my late mother, Fatiyah Mahmoud Awada, here today. My mother was a proud resident of Dearborn Heights who committed her entire life for helping people in need. I won't list all the accomplishments and contributions, as I will be standing here for hours. She truly was one of a kind and loved by many. But the thing that truly stands out about my mother is her love for all her people, especially the people of this community. It was truly her greatest pleasure to be of service. The recognition means so much to me, and I know she'd be extremely proud. Her legacy will continue through her company, United International Services, that she had established over 40 years ago. Her promise to provide services for those in need will continue. On behalf of myself and her siblings, Alex, Joanne, Maggie, Kathy, Ahlam, Steve, Nadim, and Phil, we are grateful and honored. And thank you for the city of Dearborn Heights.
Thank you. Sorry again for your loss.
Thank you.
I'd like to also give an additional 20 seconds, guys, a moment of silence before I start our meeting. Thank you, guys. Faye was an amazing person to our city. Served, like the councilman said, couldn't have been said any better. She served this community. Her family here is a testament to who she is to this community. And we honor you, and you know, our prayers are with you guys. May she rest in peace. Next up here, guys, we have
God rest her soul.
Thank you. Do I have any other council members that want to go ahead and say anything? Mayor, would you like to say anything?
Thank you, Council Chair. Yeah, I've known Faye for many, many years. That's all I remember is how great she was in the community. And she was always willing to lend a hand, especially if some people from overseas that immigrate to the U.S. and they need help. Sometimes they don't have any money. She's always there to help out. She's forever in our heart, especially in mine and my family. She was a dear friend to my mom. My mom and her go way back. So we'll always pray for the family, and may God rest her soul.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Saab.
She leaves behind a legacy, and she was true to everybody. She helped out many people in the community, including members of our family. And only words I can say is, like they say, Allah yarhamah.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Any other council members? All right, moving next, we have 2B, presentation and update from our Honorable State Representative Aaron Burns. Loud round of applause for our state rep. I always wanted to be a commentator, so forgive me.
Now's your chance. Thank you, Council Chair and Council members, for having me here tonight. So I'm
Please,
just.
Fire Chief, good.
Yeah.
Move up.
Please come on up. Not a problem. So we're just here to share an update on the state funding that the city of Dearborn Heights received for the construction of a new fire station. So I was happy to work with my partner in Lansing, State Senator Sylvia Santana, on this project. And as folks know, the city received $10 million in state funding for the construction of a new station, which we're excited about. And we're very happy to have great partners on the local level as well to get the project moving forward. So tonight, I really just wanted to share a few updates and pieces of information with everyone. This funding was allocated in last year's state budget, and the $10 million will be allocated directly to the City of Dearborn Heights Fire Department. So that's where that funding will rest when it comes through from the state. And essentially, the $10 million can only be used for the construction of the new fire station. So those funds are allocated for that express purpose and that purpose only. And I'll also share with council and the administration, I'm sure is aware as well, we essentially have until the end of this calendar year, so the end of 2024, to really pull together kind of the scope, the details of the project. And then what we'll want to do is submit that information to the state, and then we'll move forward from there in terms of bringing all of the plans for the project and the funding together to really get this off the ground and moving. And we think it'll be of great benefit to all of the residents in terms of just enhancing public health and public safety across the city.
Thank you so much to our state
Thank
rep. For those who don't know, our honorable state representative was help bring those funding back home here in Dearborn Heights. We're securing $10 million for a fire station. I know that our chief will speak a little bit as to why we're doing this, and it's for the fire station. I know this fire station on Beach Daily is primarily new. However, it was designed not the best.
Right, yeah, so we had some investigation into it. Mr. Dibb was a great help in that. And through that, Partners Architecture actually was involved in it too, and they did some sampling, and it was actually built on slag. And the slag is an absorptive material, and so it's expanding. And so the floor is slowly pushing up, and walls are pushing out. Doors won't open and close. Things aren't draining properly. And just the age of the building, I mean, it's a newer building for our city, but it's still, it was 99 it was built. The roof is aging, and then with all the moving of the building, today we had more water leaks. I think Mike Blackburn is tired of us calling over there from all the buckets that he's got to come and fix these repairs that have just complicated by the fact that it's constantly moving. And there's the solution is ripping out all the interior walls, ripping out all the floor, removing all the slag and rebuilding it, which would cost way more than a new building would cost. And it's something that we were struggling to come up with funding, and through a lot of work through everyone, we very, very thankful to come up with the funding that we did. And so we couldn't be happier, and we're very excited to move forward.
All right, that's amazing. So now we have this we're going to make this quick. This isn't a full discussion, but we're going to allow the council or the administration to ask a couple of questions in case our state rep wants to answer, or our honorable fire chief. Councilman Saab.
Honorable Rep Aaron Burns, a few questions for you about this money. Number one, what's the restrictions with it for, obviously, we got to submit plans, scope of work, environmentals, everything to the state in order to get this money approved.
Sure.
And is there anything attached to this money that has to be done by the city, for example, like an asset manager or something, to get this project running or not?
That's a good question. So in terms of like an asset manager, not necessarily, not to
Thank
the
you.
best of my knowledge. It's just essentially making sure that you have the scope of the project, materials that would be required, cost estimates, things of that nature.
Secondly, when, the funds are restricted to the fire department, so the scope of us getting the scope done, the money does expire at the end of this year if we don't utilize and get on it.
Essentially, yes, there is a possibility for that. Ideally, we would get everything settled by the end of this calendar year. The funds would be dispersed and the project would commence, again, ideally early 2025, if not sooner, just depending on your process.
And I'm gonna hit you with a few more questions, I'm sorry, but.
I'm ready.
When was this grant approved?
Sure. So this was approved as part of the state budget that went through in June of 2023. So about 6-7 months ago now.
Okay, great. And then, my last question is to the chief. Chief, do you have any status update on where the city or administration is on this, the scope, or if you've had any engineers, firms, designs, environmentals, soil sampling, anything submitted to the state?
Well, right now, we're
Anything
still trying to come up with the best site. And so we don't think where it's at is the best location anymore. It'd be nice to be off of Ford Road. It's gotten busier. We have to cross it every time we have a call. Warren is a more central location. Warren and Beach would be ideal. And so we're looking at different possible locations around there. That's where the mayor and I have been working on that, and that's where it's.
And how long do you think that process will take?
I'm not exactly sure. I don't know if we have an answer yet, but hopefully it will be done pretty quickly.
Any other questions from any council members?
Thank you.
Council Chair?
Councilman Wanso.
Thank you. Real quick question. What is needed from the city for the state to release the money? What phase do we have to be at? Do we have to have blueprints on it? Do we have to have the property? What's it going to take to release the money?
Sure. So essentially, and Chief Rogan and I have been in contact about this. It's government, so there's a lot of paperwork, right? So we've been in process of getting that basic information over to the state, like a vendor ID, some of those kind of basic elements. And then when it comes to kind of the scope of the project, really what we're looking for is kind of location, again, an estimated cost, as close to that as we can get. Of course, you'd want to have a vendor selected at that point who could kind of break down the elements of the project for you in terms of materials, staff that they would need to complete the project, and then just scope in terms of cost. And then, of course, you'd have kind of the basic budget, and then you'd want to have some, extra cash set aside just in case there are any overages or delays, which we know can happen with larger projects. So really, that's kind of what we're looking at.
So correct me if I'm wrong, basically you have to be almost shovel ready to get the money?
Sure. So I'll say two things to that. One is that the money is allocated for Dearborn Heights to build a new fire station. So I just want to be clear, it's not in question. We do have the money, it's there, and it's ready to go. What we would just need to see, from our friends in local government is just the details, the elements of the project, and then you could begin to essentially spend the money once you have the project details laid out. So that's really what that looks like.
Thank you.
Yep. Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions from council members?
Council Chair.
Councilwoman?
Does anybody have an estimate of how much additional we will need to put this together?
We don't have plans yet.
Chief?
So, I mean, there's so many different variables, we don't know exactly. So I guess that's the short answer. Like I said, we were working with Partners Architecture before when they came in to look at the station, trying to determine what the best solution would be to the problem that we have. And they said that we need to build a new one. At that time, they estimated just right around $10 million or so. It might have been a little over that, I don't remember. But so we're gonna have the architects come in and really give us a good firm price.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
can share.
Any other questions?
Council Chair, if I may, I just share on that end. I believe Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib
Yep.
secured around $850,000 in kind of gap funding for this. So we do have somewhat of a cushion in addition to the 10 million.
10.8, sounds
Yep.
nice.
There you go.
Is
Not a
that
bad
rest-
deal.
I'm sorry, is that restricted cushion or the money that's coming in? as
You
the
wouldn't
gap?
know. That's
Or you
federal.
wouldn't know?
That would, Congresswoman Tlaib would be able to speak to that, but to the best of my knowledge, that is funding that is dedicated for that gap funding for the fire station to be built. So
Thank
she
you
would
so
know.
much. Round of applause for our state rep and our police fire chief. All right, guys, before we move over onto agenda items, I do want to just give a couple of statements real quick. This is going to be, seems like a pretty long meeting. I'm asking for a few things, few housekeeping rules. If you're going to speak, we're going to go through the council chair. If you don't go through the council chair, I don't want to have to hit my gavel, but if I have to hit it, I'm going to hit it. I don't know what it does, but I hope you guys will honor the gavel, because clearly you're not honoring the council chair. That's number one. Number two, the audience. I love you guys. I know sometimes you guys want to clap, sometimes we want to have a little bit of chatter out in the background. We're not going to do that. We're going to refrain from that. To my colleagues, we're not going to spend forever on this. If there's something you guys disagree, keep it to a vote. That's why you're up here. But I don't want to see us sitting on here on an agenda item for 20, 30, 40 minutes. And I promised some of the council members here that we're going to try to get us out of here by 8:30. I don't know if that's possible, but we're going to try. It looks like our Councilwoman Breyer wants to challenge me on that. Is that a challenge?
I'd like it to be that way.
Okay, let's do that. Before we move any forward,
Can I excuse my family?
yes, your family will be excused.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Have an amazing day.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, guys, next up we have here is agenda approval.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the amended agenda for the regular meeting of January 23rd, 2024, as submitted with the following adjustment. To take item 9A out of order to be considered after section 5, public comments on agenda item, and before section 6, fund transfer and current claims, and to take items 9G and 9J and 9K out of order to be considered at the beginning of section 9, reports from city officials.
Do I got a second?
I'll second for council chair.
Yep, hang on one second. Do I got a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion?
Yes.
Councilman Saab.
I walked in 3 motions of no confidence I would like to add to the agenda.
Hang on one second, guys. Madam Clerk, are we okay here?
Well, I think there's some confusion on what you're moving where.
Okay, we're gonna have that for a discussion. Just one
That's in the
second.
motions.
Would you like to speak next, Councilwoman? Okay, continue, sir.
I like to add 3 motions.
What are your 3 motions, sir?
No confidence of the mayor, no confidence of corporate counsel, and no confidence of Chief Jared Hart to the agenda.
Councilman Ahmad, would you like to amend your motion?
Council Chair, I will go ahead and amend my motion to add the items from Councilman Saab.
Okay, you second that?
I second it.
Madam Clerk, can we add these? What number, what letters will they be? Looks like there's 3 different ones. Alaman, what number?
Is that 9? 9?
9L, 9M, and 9LN. Any other discussions here? So we are moving 9A out of order. Okay. All right, all in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up on the agenda here is approval of minutes.
Council Chair.
4A. Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the minutes for the regular meeting of January 9, 2024, as submitted with the correction that Clerk Sinia called the meeting to order.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad. Can I get a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
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 Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up, we have minutes from the special meeting of January 16, 2024.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad,
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the minutes for the special meeting of January 16, 2024 as submitted.
Second.
motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion on this? All in favor, please state aye.
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 We're going to redo that. All those in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up on the agenda is Madam Clerk.
Public hearing on agenda.
We got public hearing and comments on agenda items only. Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street you live on. Don't give me your address.
Okay. Mr. Chair, Vince Drapkowski, Columbia Street.
Hang on 1 second. You want to do this?
Start over. Vince Drapkowski, Columbia Street, Dearborn Heights, Michigan, Wayne County. Mr. Chair, council members, I'd like to talk to you about item number 9B. We're moving some of these, closing these accounts around. If I'm not mistaken, as I was going through the agenda, I believe.
9B?
9B.
I don't see 9.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Bank
I'm
closure
sorry.
Out of
accounts.
order.
Consolidating the bank accounts. And if I'm not mistaken, if I was going through the agenda, I believe I saw items in there for the Community and Economic Development Program. Okay, I highly recommend that you leave those in a separate account.
We did.
We don't want to make a mistake like we did with the drug forfeiture account.
That's what this new resolution is for.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
thank you. Because we don't want to lose any funding from our state. Also, item, I don't know how this can be turned into an insurance issue. Nothing against Allied Eagle, the billing services that did the job, or Warren Valley Golf Course, or anybody who's working over there, or the leasees. But I feel that this is a job that could have been done by our own Department of Public Works. We have an invoice here for over $15,000 for painting the building. So why couldn't our guys do that? And how can that be turned into an insurance account? How is painting a building an insurance issue?
Awesome. Mayor, would you like to respond to that?
It was damage, and that's what it is, just reimbursement on that one. I think a couple council members called on it earlier today.
For a little bit of damage? Or what,
How do you know it was little? It was a lot of damage.
to the entire building?
It was a big portion of the building, yes.
Okay. I find that hard to believe, but okay. Thank you for your time.
Public hearings and comments on agenda items only. Do we have any other one? Okay, are you speaking as a resident?
Yes. Gary Mayatki, Plainfield Street, Dearborn Heights. Thank you, Council Chair, for the additional time. My comments pertain to items 9J and 9K, the mayor's vetoes of council motions 2417 and 2425. To be clear, I'm here as a resident speaking on a matter of public concern and giving my personal opinion.
Hang on 1 second.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead? Okay.
Yes.
I am not giving legal advice. Okay. First thing I'd like to note is that the mayor's vetoes are untimely and invalid under City Charter Section 7.13. Section 7.13 states the mandatory process the mayor must follow if he wants to veto a council motion or resolution. It states in pertinent part, Section 7.13, veto by mayor. The mayor shall have the power of the veto of resolutions and ordinances passed by the council, provided that said veto, with the mayor's reasons in writing, must be filed with the city clerk at least 24 hours before the date of the next regular meeting of the council. Please note that the charter states that the veto must be submitted by the date of the next regular meeting, not the date and time. Had the charter specified 24 hours before the date and time of the next regular meeting, the mayor's vetoes could have been timely. However, given the charter states only 24 hours before the date of the next regular meeting, the mayor's vetoes were clearly untimely and invalid as they were filed 8 hours and 34 minutes too late yesterday morning. In my mind, there are two actions that should be taken. First, the council should adopt at least one motion declaring that the mayor's vetoes were untimely and thus invalid under City Charter Section 7.13. Further, the motion should also state that any action taken by the City Council to override either of the vetoes is being undertaken without prejudice to the council's declaration that the vetoes are invalid and without any effect on the effective dates of council motions 2417 and 2425, namely the dates that they were effective are the dates that they were adopted versus 1 day after the vetoes are overridden, as would ordinarily be the case when vetoes are overridden. Moreover, I think the council should just override both vetoes. This should be done just to make it very clear and not to give the administration any legal arguments that might end up being an issue. As to the specific reasons for the vetoes, I'm not necessarily in a position where I'm here going to address all of those, but I would just note that one of the vetoes states that the council's ability to choose legal counsel under the charter is limited to their confirmation of the corporation council. That statement is completely inconsistent with the city charter, section 5.13J, which specifically states that the mayor or the city council may retain special legal counsel. I'd also note that the statement is inconsistent. If I could
You
have 20 seconds.
You have 20 seconds. Hit stop. Clear. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I would also note that this statement is extremely unfounded because in the Court of Appeals case, Dearborn Heights City Council versus Mayor of Dearborn Heights, pertaining to Mayor Paletko, the Court of Appeals, and speaking of the plaintiff, the City Council, as to the defendant.
I'm so sorry, sir. Your time is up.
Can I just finish this?
I'll give you 10 seconds.
Okay. The Court of Appeals said, in sum, we conclude that the plaintiff, that is the City Council, had a clear legal right under the city charter to hire Ottenwest, the special legal counsel, to assist plaintiff, the City Council, in its financial investigation into certain spending by the city, and we are unpersuaded by defendants, namely
I'm so
Mayor
sorry, I'm going to have to
Paletko's
stop you there, sir.
arguments to the contrary.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anyone else? Public comments? On public comments and agenda items only.
Margaret King, Mayfair, am I ready, Hassan?
Hang on 1 second. Go ahead.
Thank you. It's on 11A. Thank you so much again, Mo, for putting it on here and making sure that this gets done. I do have several questions, and hopefully they'll get answered, but what does this grant cover? Is it the whole city? Is it just the school zones? And I want to know more clarification on how this grant works. So I'm hoping to get my questions answered today. And I just want to thank you again for doing this for in honor of Joey, but not only in honor of Joey, in honor of all the children that reside in our city of Dearborn Heights. Thank you again.
Thank you. Give him an extra minute for Mr. Abdul Haq.
Thank you.
Hold on 1 second.
Thank you, Council Chair.
Go ahead.
Good evening, Zuhair Abdul Haq, 354 Roseberry. I want to talk about the two vetoes the mayor submitted to the city council. He said in one of them, Section A, it shall be his responsibility to enforce all of the laws and ordinances of the city. He violated the law, he violated the charter when he hired two directors to the police department without your approval and outside of Act 78, which did exist, and the people voted on it by a huge margin of 16,000 to 7,000 in 1964.
he shall prepare and administer the annual budget and keep the council fully advised at all times as to the financial condition and needs of the city. We remember he brought the firm of Shank and Company to do forensic audit. He asked to hire legal counsel to basically fight Dan Paletko on the forensic audit. That cost the city over $150,000 of taxpayers' money, which he's so afraid now you're going to spend $50,000. And it went to court, and as Mr. Mayatki read, the appellate court upheld the decision that you can hire your own legal counsel. The two directors should have never been hired in the first place, and that would have saved the city tons of money, because they, basically, the mayor had conducted negotiations with the unions, and that basically forced him at the end, after they sued him, to give up so much things in return that they dropped the lawsuits against him, which he caused. And he caused the city to spend that money. By not following Act 78 rules, he deprived some officers who worked in the city for many years from have the ability to basically test and take those positions. He went outside and he brought some people from outside. That's all I have to say. I hope that you will stick to your decision and you will override his vetoes, because this time it is your time to stand up and prove that there is a city council and there is separation between the legislation and the administration.
I appreciate you. Thank you. Any other comments on?
Council Chair, should I go to?
No, you can speak from there. I mean, if you want to go from there, you're more than welcome
Tom's
to.
going to the podium. Let him go first.
Are you speaking as a resident or as a councilman?
Tom Wenzel, 2 Lane Street, Dearborn Heights, speaking as councilman. A couple things. First of all, part-time employee. This is our packet. No, wait. This is this meeting's packet. That us part-time employees have to go through extensively. So I just want everybody to know what we have to do to prepare for this meeting. And I don't care who's reading this, not one of us can tell you everything in this packet. Impossible. Impossible. Secondly, our meetings are held under the Open Meetings Act and conducted for the residents of Dearborn Heights. That's why we have Open Meetings Act. That's why we're not doing this privately. And every time a resident gets up here to speak, their time, they have 2 minutes or 3 minutes to talk. When I nominated myself for council chair, I had a list of things that I wanted to change about our meetings.
Yeah.
And one of them, and I'm going to make a motion or a resolution for the next meeting, that as a citizen gets timed being up here, city council is timed for their meetings. I'm going to want a clock up there. As soon as they say meeting starts at 6:02, that a 2-hour clock starts. It counts down. When that gets down to 0 at 8 o'clock, either make a motion to adjourn, or one of the council members makes a motion to extend the meeting another 15 minutes.
I love that idea. I'll support it.
Well, I don't want any comments, please. No, I'm just stating my fact. This is my opinion, mine only. So far, if anybody wants to support me, they can vote yes on it when I bring it. There's other things. I mean, if someone has something on the agenda, they should be at the meeting. If they're not at the meeting, then it's taken off the agenda. When a person's item comes up on the agenda, the item before, they get up here and they sit there ready to talk in case they're asked questions. We spend a lot of time walking back and forth. So that's just a few of the things that I want to bring up tonight, and I'll be bringing up more. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom and Councilman. Are you speaking as a resident or as a councilman?
Resident first, council also.
Okay.
As a resident, and then council. I'm on Colgate Street, Dearborn Heights, long-term resident, 1946. Our house was occupied by my parents. And I'm really upset that an email was sent today at 4:01 PM, and I don't think Georgianne should have to go through all this extra work beyond the time when we're supposed to submit things for a meeting. They should be done Thursday. We should have the information 4 o'clock the Thursday before a meeting, not at 4:01, which I didn't get to 5:03 PM tonight. That's totally wrong, guys. And we're talking 8D, 9J, and 9K. First, you're amending it to include that, and then you're voting to take it back. I want to know why we're doing it this way. It's terribly wrong, and it's time-consuming for everybody here. Thank you.
What was this again? 8 what? Councilmember, what was 8D and what else?
8D, 9J, and 9K.
8D, 9J, 9K. Well, 8D was brought by the mayor's office. 9J and 9K was already on. We just moved their places, that's it.
Well, I don't think we should be getting things an hour ahead, and I don't think the girls should have to.
These were just put out.
You're talking about the two vetoes?
This, and then we added his stuff too, and it's wrong to wait to the last minute to do this and enhance the time we have to sit here.
Thank you, Madam Councilwoman. Do we have any more public comments? Madam Clerk, do we see anybody on Zoom? All right, moving on. We now have fund transfers and current
We have
claims.
9A first, Council Chair. 9A first.
I am sorry.
Council.
Next up, we have 9A, Council Chairman Baidoun, City Council Special Legal Counsel, Letter of Engagement.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the attorney fee agreement with Gary T. Miyake and the retainer agreement with Hamoud Dakhlala and Associate PLLC, retaining them as special legal counsel pursuant to Section 5.13J of the City Charter. In addition, the Council Chair is authorized to execute this agreement on behalf of the city. If the mayor fails or refuses to execute either or both of these agreements shall be effective without his signature as outlined in 9-A.
Second.
Any discussion on this?
Yes. Council Chair,
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
what happened to $175 per hour? It's now up to 200.
Councilwoman, that's a great discussion. I believe Roger is supposed to be working on Makula, who's at 275 an hour as well. Did you have something to say?
Yes, if I may.
Please, at the mic. I'm only honoring this is because this could potentially, if passed, could be our attorney, or only legal attorney.
Yes.
Special use.
Special legal counsel.
Right. I believe that it also needs to authorize you to sign on behalf of the city council and authorize the city clerk and the mayor to sign these agreements as well. And then there was the last sentence with respect to if the mayor refuses or fails to sign, they'll still be valid.
Okay.
It does mention to authorize Council Chair to sign. Just to add the clerk.
The clerk and the mayor. And if he doesn't want to sign, then it still can end up being valid.
Okay.
Thank you.
You amend your motion?
I amend my motion for the Council Chair, Council Chair, Mayor, and City Clerk are authorized to execute these agreements on behalf of the city. Last part, if the mayor fails or refuses to execute either or both of these agreements shall be effective without his signature as outlined in 9-A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion on this?
Council Chair.
Councilman Wenzel.
Thank you. When we originally approved this, to go out for bids or people that wanted to represent us, it was we wanted to look for a firm that would advise us in certain matters. That's all that was said. Advise the city council in special matters. Then it came to, we had two firms come in here, and one firm was Gary Miyake's firm, which everybody said he's well versed with city activities. He's been here a long time. He knows the charter and everything. and another firm that was good at litigation. And the two together would be a good combination. But I didn't vote on searching for attorneys that were good at litigating. I don't plan on taking anyone to court. We were just looking for an attorney to give us advice. And I'm not going to approve this. I'm only going to approve the part for Gary Miyake, not the other firm. I mean, because we didn't, do we plan on taking people to court? That's why we need a firm that's good at litigation?
I just want to make a few things clear. If this council body gets subpoenaed to go to court, you're going to need legal representation.
We have it, MMARA.
Who?
MMARMA.
Okay, and then that's an
MMRMA.
insurance claim that would cover any fees.
They privacy, yeah. We already
Yeah,
have representation for legal action.
I personally would like legal representation, and I don't know how MMRMA works, but I know that you guys went to court in the past, and you guys used Matt Shank.
No, we use MMRMA. Mr. Blackwell is coming after us.
No, I'm talking about when you guys, I know that the former mayor sued you guys. I remember watching it on Zoom, and you guys had Matt Shank representing you. I was on the Zoom. And you guys had Matt Shank representing you guys, and you guys passed it. Madam Clerk, am I mistaken?
Council Chair.
I don't remember it.
There would be some claims that MMRMA would represent the council, but those would be generally damage claims. If there was a claim brought against you for purely injunctive relief, that type of claim would not be one where MMRMA would end up stepping in and representing you. So, and the other thing is that if you were to get sued and MMRMA was in, you could potentially end up having that as a contingency, perhaps with respect to this. But, I just wanted to clarify that. I guess I'll just sit here for the moment, and if you need me to, I'll
Council Chair.
Councilman.
Well, two caveats. Number one, the charter says we can hire legal counsel for special matters, for independent advice for a particular issue. And I just don't know if we're at that point yet. And number two, I don't know that we can legislate for us to enter into a contract for the city without the mayor's signature, without the administration's signature.
Can we do that? Is this free of charge, by the way?
Yes, it is free of charge.
I speak.
The charter basically says that the mayor shall authenticate anything that he is required to by the council or otherwise, but it doesn't have a specific requirement that it has to end up being signed by the mayor when we enter into an agreement, which was always something that, people did not necessarily recognize in the past. So you can authorize other people to sign, you can authorize the clerk to sign. We've actually had department heads who've been authorized to sign contracts in the past, as long as it's authorized by you as the council. And there will be some contracts that must be signed by, for example, the mayor and the clerk. If you get certain form contracts from the state or from the county, they'll usually require this type of thing, but not by virtue of the charter itself.
I also want to make it clear and real quick, Councilman, if that's okay. I also want to make it clear to Tom that if we're not suing anybody or we're not being, and the MMRMA doesn't, if MMRMA funds us and protects us, and there's no reason to ever hire somebody, but at least we know, and we're not paying any retainer fees. So if worst case scenario, we were like, oh my God, we're put in a pickle, instead of having to rush to a meeting, we know that we have somebody that's back there, that's already approved. And again, this is not gonna, be used unless it's required that we need that, and this is special legal use. I pray to God that we never have to use it. I believe in the past, we got rid of it because we never used it. But we also need to, let it be known that the representation for the council is there and we're protected. We're not saying that we're here to sue anybody, and we're not saying, but one day we could be sued. Roger, I know that you raised your hand, and I'm sorry for interrupting the councilman. So maybe I can let the councilman finish, or if you'd like Roger to speak next.
I'm all set.
Thank you, Councilman Uncle Constant. Go ahead, Roger.
Thank you, Council Chair. I disagreed at how this was characterized as a veto. I believe the memo clearly articulated that, and it was filed 33 and a half hours before the date of the scheduled meeting, which was at 6 p.m. tonight. Okay, so it's timely. I think that how the resolutions 24025 and 11A filed 1624, the language with the lawyers, the charter is very clear, and I think the memo that the mayor submitted to you, I hope it's part of the record, but it
Yeah,
was
he did
submitted,
send it.
it was filed with the clerk's office timely. It's first looked at before you jump to a veto. Have you followed the charter, or are you going against the charter? Now, can you have a lawyer? Absolutely, yes, okay? But a lawyer that would go through corporation counsel. My concerns weren't raised, I apologize for being sick last time, but this lawyer quit in May, and a lot of the stuff I'm cleaning up is from this attorney. No disrespect, but I think that how when you look at who you're choosing, and the second attorney for litigation, as Mr. Wenzel correctly pointed out, was not what was put in the motion, that it would be two separate attorneys to do one function. But I applaud Mr. Miyake in his contract. He quotes the charter correctly. First paragraph is the contract. Then he jumps to 200, which is different than what you said at the last meeting, which was 175. You wanted to cap it. So I think that how the following the charter, if you're not following the charter, you can pass as the previous chair and you had agreed that it would be null and void.
Roger, I got a quick question, if I may.
No problem, yes, sir.
Gary, did you have to approve Matt Shank? Which I believe the mayor brought forward.
No, I did not.
Okay.
And nor did I insist that I had to.
Look, guys, I think we had a study session on this. I don't want to go back and forth.
I hadn't finished.
Okay,
but if
go ahead,
you-
Roger. I'll let you finish.
Yeah, I think when you pull someone in the middle, council chair, it just tries to disrupt things, but that's okay, because in addition to Matt Shank, I don't see that what the problem with him was. I did see that Gary opposed him and went to court and lost. But I think that how instead of going to court and incurring those legal fees, the actual proper thing was, what does the charter say? And are we staying, that's all the judge did, is go by the charter.
The charter
That's what I'm
approved with the
asking
council
you.
the one time. Why would the judge go against the charter this time?
No, I'm not saying you can't have your lawyer, but that's what they said last time. That's why they went to the judge and said, you can't have your own lawyer. But the judge says you can, and the charter says you can.
So we're doing it.
So, yes, but it doesn't say you sign off on it. And still goes through the proper procedure. Which
By
is
having the mayor sign off on it?
And it goes through of council, as my memo says, of council, and it says going through the corporation council. It doesn't say independent of the corporation council. It doesn't set up this lawyer to be opposing the corporation council, as the memo says, where you have two lawyers fighting over an issue. It says it still falls under the corporation council, to assist but not directly oppose. And I pointed that out in the memo. That's what this is setting up, and it's been setting up since June when he left.
Nice.
So I think that how, in all due respect, it still has to go through the corporation council.
Thank you.
And you can have your lawyer, but it's not being done that way. The motion is saying it's separate, and that's what I'm objecting.
Thank you. Councilman Saab.
Council Chair, with respect to getting our own special legal counsel, we don't get representation from corporate counsel in order to, or for advice or get advised or do anything. It's all about emotions and it's all about attacking others and everything else. I truly believe that we're an independent body from the mayor, from corp counsel. We're not getting stuff that we need answered. And I completely support having our own corp counsel. It's not like we're gonna use them on a day-to-day basis, but when we do need him or need her, we would use them. It's not that $50,000 is just gonna go away. No. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman
Chair,
Ahmad. then
thank you,
I'm gonna
Council
give-
Chair. I mean, again, Councilman Wenzel, it's not like we're having those two firms on payroll. We've been fighting for this since last year, the budget last year. In case we need them, we have them. They're approved, but we don't even have to use them. If we need to use them, this council body is gonna go ahead and vote on something to use them from now on. But we have some representation and somebody we can ask some questions and we can get some clear answers. So I would really recommend and urge all the council members to go ahead and take this to a vote so we can move on. Please.
Before we go ahead, I'm going to give you a quick 30 seconds, Gary, please.
Okay. I was just going to say, if you look at my fee agreement, it follows the charter, it follows the Schenck agreement, it follows what the Court of Appeals said, and basically, it doesn't make me the first person to answer questions for you, it makes the Corp Counsel. But if the Corp Counsel gives you something that you don't feel comfortable with, and I know that's happened numerous times, then you would be able to have me give a second opinion. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we're going to take this up to a vote. Motion made by Councilman Ahmad and seconded by Councilman Saab. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
No.
All right, Madam Clerk, can you please take roll call?
Denise Malinowski Maxwell.
Yes.
Hassan Ahmad.
Yes.
Tom Wenzel.
No.
Mo Baidoon.
Yes.
Robert Constant.
Yes.
Hassan Saab.
Yes.
Nancy Breyer.
No.
Motion carries 5-7.
Thank you, Madam
5-2.
Clerk. Thank you to our body here, and I hope that we don't have to use them. But, you know, if it's needed, well, there's one sitting in the audience today. Next up is fund transfers and current claims.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve current claims and ACH wire transfer 6-1 through 6-56 as submitted.
Thank you, Councilman. Do I got a second?
I got a second, but I want some items.
Okay, 1 second, Councilman. Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Councilman Saab, go ahead.
Item 34, Dakota Group contract. That bill, I'd like that item removed, please, because again, that was not ever brought to council for approval. And we're just paying these people for service, for process serving.
Speak into your mic a little bit.
It was never brought in front of council. This is the second week that this has happened. I'd like to set aside for now. And then, number 8 and number 42, I thought we hired a mechanic for the police department. Why are we, spending thousands and thousands of dollars in labor at dealerships for these cars?
Who are you asking that question to? Who are you referring that to? Councilman?
I'm guessing any residents. No, there's nobody here. Sir? Well, how come you guys aren't fixing cars?
Point of order. Thank you. Come on, guys. Let's go. Mayor, would you like to answer that?
Okay, so the first one, you mentioned the service contract. Okay, so there was we went out, we got 3 quotes, and Kura was one of them. And they were the cheapest, and obviously they did not have, there was they weren't charging any miles. So we had to do an emergency because we needed a process server. We didn't have a process server, and we basically went with the lowest, which is Kura.
And I would just add to that, when the officers had resigned and left, a lot of them didn't think they had to come back to court. So the judges, not my cases per se, but the state cases, a few of them had gotten dismissed because there were no officers present, so they brought it to our attention. It was an emergency. In fact, we just won a jury trial yesterday, but we had served the officers. But again, it took extra effort contacting their commanding officers where they were located, and having the option to for a contempt of court if they didn't come in. But thank God they had the subpoenas to be served and were present and helped us win the jury trial. But a lot of the state cases had problems, so we helped correct it. They had 3 quotes. I wasn't involved. They had 3 quotes and they picked the right agency. But it was just to protect our cases to go forward.
So, Council Pro Tem, 2 things for you. Thank you for speaking and saying these officers resigned and left and not been fired. That's number 1. I appreciate putting that on the record. Number 2, can you tell me, Mayor, that there's no conflict with anybody that was or is in the police department with this company?
Again, we went out.
It's a yes or no question, Mayor. Yes or no?
I didn't check. There's no,
Okay.
obviously, there's no conflict.
Are you
We did go out.
100% sure about that?
We went out for bid. We got 3 bids.
Okay, well, I'm asking you about the Dakota Group. Is there anybody you know in the police department when this was out for bid, that has some kind of conflict of interest with the owner of this company, Mr. Timothy Gilbert? Yes or no?
I don't know Timothy Gilbert. I can't answer that question.
Okay.
So if you have something, bring it up.
I will, and I would ask council right now to put this quota group on.
Take it off the table or take it off the
table.
claims?
Take it off of claims, please. This should have been bought in front of council, and
For the
I
contract.
didn't see where it was, I requested where it was put out for bid and everything, never got anything, so.
So, I'm sorry, just to get this right, Councilman, so you need, which items again?
34.
34?
And then my other question was for the police vehicle repairs. I thought we moved our DPW, if I'm not mistaken, mechanic over to the police department. He was servicing cars and putting cars back on the road. Why are we paying thousands and thousands of dollars in vehicle repairs to the dealership when we have somebody we're paying to do such repairs?
Council Chair.
Councilman, I'm sorry, Mayor?
Okay, so obviously some of the repairs looks like here, there's a PCM to be changed on one of the vehicles.
Okay.
And I can't see that one, but the mechanic that we have, they do basic repairs. For oil changes, basic, just whatever is basic, and also tire changes. There's no, any major work, we still go out to the dealers.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Council Chair?
Councilman.
I also would like to take claim 6 out
I'm
for
sorry,
artistic landscaping until accurate invoices to show the date of service and before and after date stamp pictures are provided to the council, please.
So we're removing 34 and 6.
6.
Any other council members?
Council Chair.
Councilman Constant.
Well, regarding Coda Group, and thank you, Corporation Council, for letting me know that. So we had to get the officers that were no longer with the city of Dearborn Heights served, so they would show up at trial otherwise. And that was why an outside process server was hired.
I know, and I agree with you, and I think that's important. I think ultimately, though, this needed to go out for bid.
We did.
Can you tell me when?
It went out for bid here. I have.
Why was it never
June-
brought to council for approval?
It's service.
When afford to
It's service again. It went out
Hang on.
June 6, 2023.
When is it? What date?
June 6th.
June 6, 2023, and we had 3 bidders. We
Did this
had,
come in front of
Michigan-
council on June, after that?
No, it's service, Council Chair. Service contract. Again, it's Michigan Process Pro, came up, Gabel, Process Server, and CUDA Group, Inc.
It was signed, Council Chair, may I?
Yes, go ahead, Council.
Yes. I believe the contract was signed. It was sent over to the clerk's office. I heard from Director Swope. I tried to resend it again for some reason, but it's a service contract, as the mayor said, so it could be signed to go forward. But it was provided to the
Thank
clerk's
you.
office.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, was that ever sent over to you guys? Can you please speak in the mic?
I checked with George, she hasn't seen it, I haven't seen it.
Did it ever come in front of you, George?
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
I just received it, Council Chair, may I?
Hang on one second. Madam Clerk, anything else? George, anything else?
I mean,
Guys-
all the contracts, George keeps track of them.
And Roger, I want
Saw
to make it
last
clear,
week.
guys, we're not going to have the back and forth. If it's not, maybe we can send it over. I mean, I
Yes.
personally would still like approval of council. Traditionally, shouldn't things like this go in front of council, Madam Clerk?
I don't know, it's a charter question.
Okay.
Council Chair?
Mayor,
It was sent to the clerk. I have the memo here. I have the email. It was sent to the clerk on 1/18/2024. Again.
that was recently. That was right
again,
after.
But it was sent also, let me see, I'm trying to go back to my original email.
It must have gotten lost in my election emails.
Okay. Guys, nothing from the audience, please, Madam Clerk. I don't have to say it, but point of order, please.
Yes, Council Chair.
Yeah, go ahead, Roger.
Just a point of clarification. I think that the email says it cannot be accepted. It was not accepted by the clerk. So I'll have to talk with the clerk to figure out what we're going to do. Because it didn't go to the council, but it was with the bid and was signed by.
So why don't we do this? Why don't we get this sent over to the clerk? Let the clerk receive it, let them sign it. We will table it, and we will bring this back so that we can have it back on the next agenda.
We want to make sure they get paid, Council.
Yeah, we're not
Chair.
saying we're not going to pay them. I mean, look, if they did work, they're going to get paid.
It has been sent. It's in the attachment at least on January 18th, it was sent again. So
It was sent to you too, also, Council Chair.
Mayor?
And just want to let you know, so.
Yeah, you can read it, Mr. Mayor. when it's-
Council Chair.
Hang on 1 second. Let the mayor finish, please.
I can resend it to all of you again.
I'd like you to send it to the clerk.
She has it already. If she doesn't have it in her inbox, let me know. I'll resend it tomorrow.
Yes, can you please resend it?
I'll do it right now.
Thank you. Councilman Ahmad.
Can we go ahead and take it to a vote? I mean, we don't have the backup, so let's go ahead and take it to a vote, please.
Well, are you amending your motion?
I'm amending my motion to take out claim number 34 and the claim 6.
Okay, are you seconding that?
I'll second it.
Any other discussion?
Council Chair,
Councilman Wanso.
I'm questioning claim number 3, the Allied Building Services, $15,431 for.
What claim number is that?
Number 3.
Number 3? Okay.
I'd like to get the 3 bids before this project starts.
Okay.
It's already done.
The project,
wow.
The project was already done.
We didn't get the 3 bids?
Mayor, was there any bids on this?
This is from the insurance, that was from a while back, from what I recall. Let me see if Mr. Deeb is online, because he did, I know he was online. You can put him.
Madam Clerk, can you see if Ali Deeb is on there and unmute him?
Yeah, hold on.
Thank you.
Ali, here he is.
Hello?
There he goes.
Mr. Deeb? Yes, we can hear you. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So this was for last June's vandalism at the golf course maintenance site. It wasn't at the golf course building. It was there were 2 vandalism scenarios. One had painted the entire building with graffitis and profanities. And the insurance sent an adjuster, our MMRMA sent an adjuster and gave us approval to proceed with the work, and they'll pay for it. So this is part of an insurance claim, and it is covered. There were some delays in the construction because of the active work season, so we had to wait until after, but the work is pretty much 99% complete.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
Thank you, Council Chair. So, Mr. Deeb, if it's an insurance claim, we don't have to get 3 bids?
Well, they actually had to approve it. So we have prior approval from the insurance company on the scope and the amount and all that was prior approval. So I didn't add anything to it. It was just using the insurance adjusters prior approval, and we went that way.
Council Chair. Thank you,
Councilman Ahmad. Thank you, Mr. Deeb.
Council, per charter, do we need 3 bids even if it's an insurance claim?
Well, I think that how, as Mr. Dibbs said, if you're gonna do certain bids, I think you would. If you're bidding for the insurance, 3 insurance companies.
No, I mean, just to bid for the work. I know we're getting paid from the insurance, but to bid for the work, do we need 3 bids or?
If I may, Council.
Hang on 1 second, Mr. Deeb.
Mr. Deeb, if you can finish his sentence.
You want to yield your time to him? Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. Deeb.
Yes, sir. So what I was going to tell you, the amount of the damage is determined by the assessor. So going out to bid and coming up with different numbers, then the insurance will not pay. So the assessor, they sent us an adjuster. And the adjuster came up with the damages and gave us the amount and recommended. So the going out to bid at this point is, it's kind of.
So, Mr. Deeb, if you don't mind me asking, if the adjuster gave us the money, why are we paying for it?
We're not. They don't give you the money. They want you to do the work and within the approved amount and submit the invoice for them to them after you pay it. Just like you have a claim on your house insurance.
So
you pay the repairs and send your. I do have the approval in writing, so I'm just waiting for you to approve the payment. I'll pay and then prove a payment to the insurance company and get the check.
Okay, Mr. Deeb, so you're saying right now that if once it's being paid in full, the city or the insurance company will pay us back in full?
Same amount, yes, sir. Yep.
You have that in writing, you stated?
We have it in writing to up to 17,960 for all the claims, and this is within that.
So why are we paying 18 and some change then if it's up to 17?
This is no, that's.
I'm sorry, 15. I'm 15.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, there are other things that we're paying for. So there's some inside the wall, but this is within. I'm tracking the cost of the approved amount, if you will.
Any other? Councilman Wanso.
I'm not sure how these claims work, but I don't pay an insurance claim out of my pocket first and getting reimbursed by the insurance company.
Send you a check.
Yeah, I mean, they send me a check, and then I get a contractor to come out, and then I pay them. Was there a police report made on this?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. This
Council
happened
Chair.
back in June? I never even heard about it.
They
It's the
said
first time I've
June
heard about
6th.
this.
Well, yeah, this was the vandalizing where, remember where somebody took a moped or a dirt bike and they rode up and down on the greens?
Oh,
That's all that was said. There was
That's a
nothing
different
said about,
This is a different one.
yeah, this.
Mayor, was this a different one? Was this the same day?
No, we had one first. That's the one that they took a tractor, went through the door. We did talk about that.
So this is somebody a completely different date?
Yeah, it was way before.
This
Oh, I
is just
didn't know about
painting?
this.
This is strictly painting?
No, there was a door. It was a lot of work.
So
So you're saying a door was vandalized, like they broke a door?
a garage door, overhead garage door, they were able to start a vehicle
Tractor.
and drive it through, yes,
Wow.
drive it through the door. That was before we even had the place open. So this was when the place was still closed, and some vandals got over the west end of the golf course and went inside the maintenance complex, not the building, the maintenance block, and did some damage. We had a police report, there was investigations, and, we contacted the insurance company to try to get some of the work, they approved a certain amount, not 100%, but that's the way MMRA, I agree with Councilman Winslow. My house insurance doesn't work that way, but this is that's a city
Municipal insurance,
policy.
maybe?
Yeah, it's a different policy.
Yeah.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
I'm sorry, last one. Mr. Deep, just for my own information, so you're saying they don't pay us unless we hire somebody from outside? Like, we couldn't send the people from DPW to do it, and then we can keep the money?
Two reasons. One, the building paint was lead-based, so I had to have proper work done, so I can't send my people to scrape lead-based paint. We need to be, certain, that's why it's expensive, by the way. So,
Thank you, Mr. Deeb. Do we have any other questions, Councilman Wanso? Anyone else?
Just if they can send us the approval from the insurance.
Well, are you wanting to amend your motion, or do you want to leave it as
Do you
is?
still want me to amend my motion,
Yes,
Councilman?
yeah, this one is,
Why don't we do this,
Lead
Mr.
abatement's pretty expensive, and I can't believe they would do the lead abatement
Mr.
and paint for that.
Well, you got to keep in mind, Councilman, if I may, according to Mr. Deeb, it was a lead-based paint, which I'm sure that's probably why it was a little bit more expensive, why DPW or Building and Maintenance didn't do it. Now, I'm not saying that I'm okay with this. What I'd like to see, if we do table this, Mr. Deeb, maybe you can bring it on to the next meeting, and moving forward, 3 bids should always go moving forward, but give us the in writing from the MMRMA, that they will pay us after we pay for it. And if it's, robbing Peter to pay Paul, I don't see the issue with it. And I take your word on that. I think it's just more for, backup and a clarification for this council. Would you like to amend your motion?
Councilman, you still want me to amend it to take it out?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to amend my motion to take out number three, number 6, and number 34.
I'll second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any other discussion?
I have discussion on page 134 of 434.
What number is that?
It doesn't have a number. It's page 134 of our packet, and it involves Klimas. She probably knows the proper pronunciation for the police. It's a system where they can check things
Okay.
with the police. And we have bills from January through March, April through June, and all of '23. I'm wondering why we haven't paid any of these, and now we owe $18,495.
That's a great question, Councilwoman. That's a great question.
We have no treasurer?
Does anybody?
Who's that bill signed by?
Vanderplow? Director Vanderplow?
Former?
No.
Mayor, do you want to answer that for the councilwoman? If you don't want to, that's fine.
Do you know what number? I know the page number, but we're listed here by number.
Oh. Yeah.
Who's the vendor again?
Clemens, Oakland County.
Oakland County.
Oakland County.
County.
This is invoice number.
That's number 41. Number 40 and number 41, Mayor.
Invoice
Okay,
number
40
is,
and 41?
CID
40 and 41.
Okay.
There's an invoice number on this.
So 40 looks like it's from October through December 2023.
About 41, I think it's from March.
Oakland
of-
County.
From March of last year. The invoice.
So I see, yeah, there's one
March
from,
31st.
April, June 2023 for $759. There's the one from April to June, $485. And it looks like there's maintenance for $1,000. That's April, June 2023. And number 40, that's the membership that has October to December 2023 and October, okay, also
I think she's asking for an
fire-
explanation on
for the
that.
fire. Hmm?
I think she's asking for an explanation as to why we waited so long to pay them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Council Chair.
Paying interest
Well, hang
on
on,
this?
hang on, guys. And if you can't get to it, it's okay. If you don't have the answer, that's all right. I mean, I know that's not your, that's not your
Promise,
duty.
I mean, that's the membership, so we have to pay it, obviously.
Okay.
So that's-
So, Madam,
Council Chair.
Councilwoman Breyer, do you have any other questions?
That's it.
Okay, Councilman Ahmad.
Thank you, Council Chair. Councilwoman, would you like to keep it or you want me to take it out too? Until you have more explanation about it.
Well, I want the bill to be paid.
You want it to be paid?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, guys. Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab to remove 3, 34, and 6. All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up, we have consideration of bid, CEDD Director Jamal, bid award Berwyn Center blind replacement.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council award the bid for the Berwyn Senior Center Blinds Replacement Project to Noor Curtains as the lowest qualified bidder for a cost of $34,000 and authorize the mayor and clerk to sign the contract agreement on behalf of the city. In addition, authorize the CEDD director to approve necessary change orders up to $6,800, which is 20% of the bid amount, and authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign the necessary warrant to not to exceed a total of $40,800. Further, authorize the treasurer to issue payment from Fund 103, Berwyn Senior Center Improvement, general ledger tracking accounts, and to pay from the unrestricted general fund pool bank account to be reimbursed from U.S. Treasury accordingly as outlined in 7-A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Constant. Do we have any discussion on this? All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up, we have reports from Mayor, Michigan Department of Transportation, AMDAD Annual 2024 Permit Package and Performance Resolution.
Council Chair,
Councilman Constant.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the Michigan Department of Transportation, MDOT Annual 2024 Permit Package and Performance Resolution for annual maintenance, pavement restoration, and special events to be performed on MDOT road right-of-ways in our jurisdiction during 2024. In addition, authorize the DPW Director Conrad to sign the documents on behalf of the city as outlined in 8A.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Do we have any discussion on this? All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up, we have Wayne County Annual 2024 Permit Package and Performance Resolution.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the Wayne County Annual 2024 Permit Package and Performance Resolution for annual maintenance, pavement restoration, and special events to be performed on Wayne County Road, rights of way in our jurisdiction during 2024. In addition, authorize DPW Director Conrad to sign the documents on behalf of the city as outlined in 8-B.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Do we have any discussion on this? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up, we have the Ecorse Creek Commission appointment.
Council Chair.
Councilwoman Breyer.
I'd like to make a motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council concur with the mayoral appointment of Tim Emery to the Ecorse Creek Commission, term to expire January 2025, as outlined in 8C.
Support.
All right, that was a unanimous second, so I'll go with Councilman Saab on this one. Motion made by Councilwoman Breyer, seconded by Councilman Saab. Do we have any discussion?
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
I think Mr. Emery is here on Zoom. I think he wanted to say something probably.
Madam Clerk, can you unmute the Honorable Tim Emery?
And thank you, and thank
Good
you for
evening,
providing
Tim.
your bio, sir.
Thank you for your bio. Thank you for your initiative. Thank you for serving the community of Dearborn Heights on so many different initiatives. And I know our Councilwoman Breyer really respects you and speaks extremely highly of you, sir.
No, I love our city.
I'd be remiss to not recommend Councilman Constant as well. If you'd like to just say a few words on this appointment by Mayor Bill Bazey, please be my guest.
Oh, myself? Me?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I'm honored to serve on Ecorse Creek Commission. It's, I've been aware of it I've lived here all my life, so I've known what has gone on, what the problems have been. My heart goes out to the people when it does flood. And I tell my wife that when I look outside when it's raining, I says, I hope it doesn't flood down there, but it does. But I'm aware of it. And I hope we can do something beneficial to the residents, in the problem areas. And it's working so far.
All right, thank you so much, Mayor. This was a great appointment. I hope that this passes unanimously. Motion made by Councilwoman Breyer, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any other discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Congratulations, the ayes have it. Next up on the agenda, we have 8D, veto from City Council Motion 24-017 and 24-025. Before anybody reads on this and we have a discussion, I'm going to ask that we, after this is read, I'm going to call on the clerk. Madam Clerk, I would just like a quick breakdown, brief, as to what the resolution should be like, because I know you witnessed it in 2020. Give me a quick breakdown, when you received it, the time that you received it, and then we can go and have that discussion with the rest of the council members.
You mean today, or these two vetoes?
Correct.
We received them.
Well, let them read the motion first, and then I'm going to have you go up for the discussion, unless you want to start off first. Go ahead. I'm going to have you start
Typically, I'm
off.
supposed to read the veto, what the charter says.
Correct.
Okay, do you want me to do that now?
Yes.
Okay.
You want to get up there, or you want to
Sure.
do it off your
Or
seat?
it doesn't matter, whatever.
Council Chair, I
Okay.
sincerely apologize. These are not vetoes yet. So to read them as vetoes is not correct to what the language says here.
It says veto right on here.
No,
Veto from
no,
city council.
It says if you perceive it not to be an objection, and it lists exactly what the conflict with the charters are. Now, if you go against it and say no, if we want to look at it as a veto, then that's your decision. But it's not presented as simply a veto. If it's not accepted by you or rejected, then it will be considered a veto.
I'm so lost.
I'm so confused too.
See why we have a special legal counsel today?
It says veto two times on the first page.
Well, guys, time out. Point of order. Thank you. I agree with the councilman once on that one. Because it says veto 5 times.
Yeah.
But, Madam Clerk, we're going to go ahead and proceed. Get up here, read those for me, please, if you don't mind. And
Absolutely.
if this council wants to continue to ask questions and don't feel the confidence on the approachment from our corp counsel, we can also reach out and hopefully he would just give us a pro bono for the day. Just moving forward. Madam Clerk?
Ready? So
Yeah.
this is.
So give us a quick breakdown, what you're reading, why you're reading it.
This
Thank
is City Charter Section 7.13, veto by mayor. The mayor shall have the power of the veto of resolutions and ordinances passed by the council, provided that the said veto, with the mayor's reasons in writing, must be filed with the city clerk at least 24 hours before the date of the next regular meeting of the council, at which said meeting the clerk shall present such veto or vetoes to the council. The council may only at said meeting reconsider the vote at which such proceedings were passed and adopted, and if it so elects, may only at said meeting readopt such proceedings by a 5/7 vote of all the members elected, in which event the veto shall be overridden, and it will bar the right of the mayor from any future vetoes of the proposed legislation. Such proceeding shall then become effective on the following day succeeding such meeting of the council, and ordinances so passed shall become effective immediately thereafter upon publication. No ordinance, resolution, or other proceeding shall be published until the meeting following the meeting at which said ordinance, resolution, or proceeding was adopted. Okay, and at this time, then, we've read this part. It would be the appropriate time to have the motion one at a time reintroduced for readoption or not.
So Madam Clerk, I just want to make sure that I'm doing this right.
Yes.
We see this. Next up, we have reports from the city officials. At this time, the council members will have to reintroduce and readopt the approval of the resolution, budget amendment, Dearborn Heights Police Directors. This is put on by the mayor, correct?
I'm sorry,
That's the mayor's.
The first part was he filed the vetoes.
Okay.
So now it's the time to go ahead and reintroduce them for readoption.
Readoption and to rescind what we
No,
initially
you would
voted.
have to reaffirm that you are, reaffirm or not reaffirm that that's what you want.
Our motions, our.
Yes, the
Okay.
motions that.
I know.
You've done it enough times.
Yeah. So I guess I need guidance moving
So,
forward.
Well, then let me
Council
go
Chair.
get the-
Hang on one
No.
second,
Let
Councilman.
me get the paperwork.
Council Chair, with your permission, do I read the actual objection filed?
Hang on
Was
one
this-
second, Roger.
No problem.
Councilwoman, I know you had something. Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell, did you have something?
Yeah, Madam Clerk, correct me if I'm wrong, but we reintroduced the same things that we voted on 2 weeks ago, the exact same things, and we vote on them again to reaffirm our votes are still the same.
Okay.
Just 9J and 9K.
And we need a vote of at least 5 to override the veto.
Okay.
So if we get 5, then it's a super veto.
Council
We've
Chair.
vetoed the mayor.
Council.
Thank you, Council
Well,
Chair.
hang on one second. I'm so sorry. I had Roger next. Go ahead, Roger. Your mic, please.
The purpose of this memorandum is to outline the several reasons why the above captioned resolution is ultra vires of the Dearborn Heights City Charter and otherwise contrary to law. Normally, Section 7.13 of the Charter sets forth the appropriate procedure to reject a council resolution. However, Resolution 11A and 24-025 are legal nullities since council passed it outside of its charter mandated duties and authority. However, to the extent this council or any tribunal deems the resolution to be in order, then consider this to be a veto. So there's 2 steps that we're saying. And the first step is it's ultra vires against the charter and therefore would not be subject to a veto because it's an illegal vote according to the charter. But if you choose to say, nope, it's legal, we're going to go forward, then it would be considered a veto.
Council Chair.
Roger, before we move forward, Roger, what is your recommendation to this council today? I want to hear what you as our corporation council, I'm going to seek
Yeah.
first.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm going to tell you before you answer that, this council here is livid. I'm going to use the term livid, meaning we're upset, we're angry, we feel like we're being bullied, pushed around, ignored, lack of respect.
We'll leave that.
And so I want you to know, when you answer this, don't continue to make us feel that way. Can you answer respectfully to this body?
And not be emotional.
Please.
Okay, all right. The charter, this motion lacks, it's a unilateral amendment. It goes against the collective bargaining agreement. It goes against the Fair Labor Standards Act. It goes against the First Amendment Constitutional Right Whistleblowers Act of these people. Article 6 of the collective bargaining agreement and Article 7 says you can't
Guys, nothing from the
interfere.
audience, please.
I'm sorry.
Council Chair.
Hang on.
You can't interfere.
Okay.
I mean, Council Chair, I mean, to be honest
hadn't
with you, I was
finished,
confused. I had to read this to understand. So it says that it needs, the mayor must file it with the city clerk at least 24 hours before the date of the next regular meeting. So this should have been filed Sunday. And it was
No,
filed Monday morning.
Well,
So the date, not the time, the date.
Okay, so look what we're gonna do. Very
So
simple.
I don't think we even need to discuss this, Council Chair.
We don't.
To reaffirm it though, and since it was brought in front of us, we can still go ahead and make a vote.
Yeah, but it wasn't properly filed, Council Chair, so I don't know why we need to affirm it.
Let's just take our vote again on the same two
I
things.
agree. I agree with the councilwoman on that. Madam Clerk, maybe you can give us directions on this, because we have 8D for the veto, but Corporation Council is telling this is not a veto. But it says, according to Councilman Wenzel, who also read it, it says veto.
Council Chair.
Councilman Constant.
If I may, in just in 2 sentences, Corporation Council is reading the memorandum and making the argument that the resolution, because separation of powers and other issues, was not a proper resolution. But if it is deemed to be a proper resolution, then the mayor is vetoing. That's what that says.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Madam Clerk, am I making a vote on 8D? We're not. I'm reintroducing our original, Madam Clerk. So you want to walk me through, do we go straight to
9J.
9J. Correct. Reports from city officials. At this time, council members will have to reintroduce and readopt and approve the resolution, budget amendment, and on the Dearborn Heights Police Directors. Next up is 9J, reconsideration of reports. Readopt City Council's motion 24-017.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council to reconsider and readopt City Council Resolution Budget Amendment Dearborn Heights Police Directors.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. I know we want to have a discussion, but I'm going to ask that we keep it brief. Any discussions on this? All in favor, please
Council
state.
Chair. Council
Okay.
Chair. We never did get a ruling on is if this was submitted at the proper time to be even beyond the agenda. I mean,
Well, this is,
I know, if that's the case, then we don't even have to go through this.
I know, we're just going to reaffirm our votes.
Okay, and, my original vote was made like 9 months ago when the command officer's contract came before us. And it had these issues in there and stated the names, and I was the only one that voted no on it, and I'm not going to change my vote.
So I want to actually, when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And when you're kept in the dark, sometimes it's hard to make a decision when you don't see the light. And Councilman Wenzel, I apologize, man. You did. He called me. He informed me on it. I didn't know the repercussions that were going to happen. And, fast forward to where it is, I admit I dropped the ball. I voted on something that I should have maybe considered with you, Councilman. I sincerely apologize. And it came back to bite us in the behind. And I'm glad, though, that this council is kind of standing firm and reiterating that, look, nobody's saying that this isn't about a certain individual. He, she, him, her, none of that. This is about going through policy and procedure. And that's all that's asking. If, the mayor wants to come back and bring this to the council, like he's got the majority, he's got 4 or more votes, then guess what? Let's move forward. But if it's okay with his body, can we have maybe a special legal counsel just, as long as this motion sits okay, would you be okay to do that for us? Is this council okay with that?
I'm okay.
I'm okay with that.
I'm sorry, could I just clarify what you're asking me to?
I'm basically clarifying that as this recommendation, one, we know that the timely matter of the mayor submitting this was.
Right.
Was
My
invalid.
recommendation would be to clearly override the veto.
Okay.
I still would say that you should say something that essentially, I did a proposed motion. This motion was that the city council finds that the mayor's 22-24 vetoes of council motions 2417 and 2425 were filed too late with the city clerk to be timely under city charter section 7.13. Accordingly, the city council declares that these vetoes are invalid. Further, if the city council takes any action to override either or both of these vetoes, Any such action is being undertaken without prejudice to the council's declaration that the vetoes are invalid.
I would love to have this motion, Council Chair.
Do you second that?
I'll second it.
All right, motion made by Councilman Ahmad, so we are amending it. Madam Clerk, did you get that? No, neither did I.
Do you want me to read it, or?
No, that's,
Well, we're adding on, we're amending the motion to add that on.
Or you could just take this motion first.
First, yeah.
Well, then we'd have to suspend the rules.
No?
No,
Yeah.
well, Council Chair, you could say without objection, suspend the rules to take this motion first, and then if everyone, says without objection, then you can end up taking the vote on this.
Okay, without objection, can we suspend the rules?
There.
You take a roll call, or?
You can do that, or you can just do, you know what, it'll be easier for you just to do a motion.
All in
'cause you're
favor?
used to that.
Go ahead,
Suspend the
Councilman.
rules to consider this motion out of.
Council Chair, I would like to suspend the rule and make a new motion.
No, to consider this
To
motion.
consider the motion that was just read. Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Wenzel. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up we'll have is 9J.
Now read this.
Okay.
I would like to motion that the city council finds the mayor's January 22nd, 2024 vetoes of council motion 24-017 and 24-025 were filed too late with the city clerk to be timely under City Charter Section 7.13. Accordingly, the city council declares that these vetoes are invalid. Further, if the city council takes any action to override either or both of these vetoes, any such action is being undertaken without prejudice to the council's declaration that the vetoes are invalid.
second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. I'm sorry, Saab. Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it.
9J.
Now, we're gonna make a
Now you
motion
do
to.
the re-adopt.
Make a motion to readopt to, a regular meeting. I'm sorry, we're gonna readopt.
Re-adopt the two, and you should do them separately, just
Yes,
to be clear.
9, just readopt
9J.
2417.
Okay.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council to reconsider and re-adopt City Council Resolution Budget Amendment Dearborn Heights Police Directors.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up will be, at this time, the council members will have to reintroduce and re-adopt approved motion to retain city council special legal counsel. Councilman Saab.
Councilman?
Did you take a roll call vote on?
Yes.
The veto.
I'm sorry.
It was unanimous.
It was,
Oh, so it was, I'm sorry.
Yes.
did we have to suspend, did we have to get out of being in this?
You did.
Okay.
You did.
Okay.
You got,
Next up, we have 9K, recommendations to re-adopt City Council's motion 24-025.
Council Chair,
Councilman Saab.
man, Councilman Ahmad. I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council to reconsider and re-adopt retention of city council special legal counsel.
support.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. All right, next up on the
Council
agenda.
Chair, can we go, just a quick item on,
Councilman,
9J?
we're
Okay,
we're
we'll
done
talk
with this.
about it. Okay.
I'm sorry, Roger?
Council Chair, just as a housekeeping matter, I just want to make sure my objections to the characterization from Ms. Miyake and the council voting on it is opposed by Corporation Council.
Okay, thank you so much. Next up on here, we have 9B, Council Chairman Baidoun. City Council Motion 23-567, closure of bank accounts, Phase 3.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council rescind Council Motion 23-567 due to the inability to close accounts by the requested date of April 30, 2023. In addition to approve the closure of bank accounts Phase 3 proposal presented by Plan Moran on March 7, 2023, with the removal of Act 345, 7344, and CDBG at Chase, ending in 9387, accounts from the original closure list. American Relief Plan Act cash, ending in 7452. PEG fees, ending in 9696. Mayor Streets.
Council Chair for that, is that Mayor Streets or Major Streets?
Major?
Okay.
Major, yeah, it's probably just
Major streets ending in 5439, local streets ending in 7429, escrow at Chase ending in 1158. Further authorize the treasurer to move the funds to the Comerica General Funds ending in 7191 as outlined in 9-B.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion on that? All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Councilwoman Breyer, looks like we're on pace. Next up, we have 9C, Clerk Senior Deputy Clerk's salary increase.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the increase of the deputy clerk's salary to $70,000 per year, and for the comptroller to make the necessary budget amendment from the city's fund balance. This is in no way reflect the cost of living increase as outlined in 9-C.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion on this? I have something to say on this. For those who don't know, we have the greatest clerk in the United States of America, probably in the world. And for those who don't know and don't appreciate her, I want you to know you guys are missing out on one hell of a person, because she is loyal, she is great, and she will stand for the residents, and I'm so glad that that is our clerk.
Yes.
But most importantly, you know, a good leader leads from within and teaches people from within and how to grow and, you know, really teaches people to just be a great leader. And if you know anything about Dana, who is going to be getting this potential raise, she's an unbelievable leader. I know that we approved this, I believe, with our budget, if that's not mistaken.
We did, part of it. And then with the addition of the responsibilities for early voting, which this year we have 9 days of
Yes.
early voting, she's going to be one of the ones
So-
that is overseeing, so additional responsibilities to that position.
And we're not giving her that big of a raise. I think it's like $5,000 or $7,000 raise, right? So it's not that big of a raise, but this, you know, Dana goes above and beyond
Yes,
for
she
us. Her family has resided in the city of Dearborn Heights for many, many years. Her parents are here. I see her parents' dog walk all the time. So really, Dana is an amazing person. It's because she's surrounded by an amazing leader. And I thank you, Madam Clerk. And I'm sorry if at any time I had to point of order you, but please forgive me. But
Just don't
truly,
let it happen again, no.
truly, I'm so happy to see this. I'm so happy. Hopefully George will be next. Hopefully many of our deputy directors and directors will be next in the city. This is, I've had this conversation with the mayor many times. You want good employees, you pay good employees. You want bad employees, you pay bad employees. Not that anybody's a bad employee, but, you know, Dana is definitely an amazing employee, and we're lucky to have you and her. So hopefully we can get this passed here. Any other discussion?
I just
Councilman
want to
Saab?
thank the clerk's office. Thank you for always going above and beyond, honestly. We throw a load at you guys all the time, and George, Dana, everybody. Nobody bothers you more than I do, but I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Councilman Wenzel.
Thank you, Council Chair. Ditto for what everybody said about you guys. I'm encouraging all of our other directors to come to the city council with proposed raises for their deputies, because we have quite a few that are.
Yes, I agree.
due.
Absolutely.
I agree. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Congratulations, Dana. Motion
Thank you.
passes.
Thank you very much.
Councilman, who's going to read all of these if you leave? Next up is 9D, CEDD Director Jamal, Environmental Testing and Consulting, Contract Extension.
Council Chair,
Who's that? Councilman Constant?
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve environmental testing and consulting ETC change order number 1, requesting extension to their services contract with the city of Dearborn Heights for an additional 2 years, effective October 1st, 2023 to September 30th, 2025, as allowed by HUD regulations with the same terms and conditions, except for the services rate, which will be addressed in the ETC change order number 2 as outlined in 9D.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilwoman Breyer. Any discussion on that? Hearing none. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up, we have, again, our Honorable CEDD Director Jamal, Environmental Testing and Consulting, change order number 2.
Council Chair.
Councilwoman Breyer.
I make the motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve environmental testing and consulting, ETC, change order number 2, requesting approval for the service rates according to the GSA contract service rates as outlined in 9E.
Second.
Motion made by Councilwoman Breyer, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion?
Council Chair,
Yes, sir. Councilman Wenzel.
I'd like to tip my hat to Director Jamal for
Yes.
his really thorough presentation to the council members and leaving no T uncrossed or no I undotted. It was very kind of interesting reading. I didn't get a chance to read it all, but I skimmed through it. And
It
he
was
did a
long.
Very
It was
thorough, very thorough
many
job.
exhibits.
And he did a great job.
Council
Thank
Chair.
you. Councilman Saab.
I want to, honestly give a hats off to Director Jamal. He goes above and beyond, man. He's honestly a genius. It comes down to the stuff and what he does, and honestly, one of the most ethical people you'll ever meet. And I want to thank him for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion made by Councilwoman Breyer, seconded by Councilman Saab. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up again, our Honorable CEDD Director Jamal.
Council Chair.
Councilwoman Breyer.
I'd like to make the motion that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve change order number 1 to the Eaton Center Boiler Room Pipes and Valves Replacement Project in the amount of $10,500 for a total contract amount of $29,000. In addition, authorize the mayor, comptroller, or clerk to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue payment as outlined in 9F.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Breyer, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion? I will just say quickly, I know we have 2 of our honorable seniors here with us from the Eaton Center who are here at every meeting. Round of applause to them. If you guys haven't toured the Eaton Center, if you haven't met Josie at the Eaton Center, it's such an amazing place. It's so welcoming. Many of them have brought me so many gifts. I can't tell you, my daughter, my kids got gifts. I mean, Councilman Ahmad and half of the council members haven't brought me as many gifts as our seniors at the Eaton Center, and so I thank you guys for that. But really, check it out. I'm glad that I'm glad that our director, Jamal, is really investing in our senior centers here in the South End. And hopefully, we're going to continue to invest, and soon we'll see a new, we'll see Josie as our full-time, who knows? Any other discussion? All in favor? Yep.
Council Chair?
Yes, ma'am.
Just one addition to this. I had a call from a previous District 7 school board person that we're not getting across to the new superintendent what things are being done in the building that we rent from them. So we've got to do a better connection so they're aware that these things are being done and they're being paid for, not by them.
So you want to refer that to the mayor?
I don't know, is that proper? I will have them get in touch with you.
All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up, we have Comptroller King Budget Amendment.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the amendments of the fiscal year 2023-2024 budgets by the amounts in the attachment as outlined in 9-G.
Support. Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Constant. I want to thank our Comptroller. I see that you made those adjustments and fixes, and they looked a lot cleaner. Do we have any other discussion here?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am, Councilwoman.
My bottom line is, most of them balanced, you took from one to give to another, but what is the excess amount that we have to come up with?
That's a great question, Councilwoman Breyer.
I read.
Hello, Cindy King, Comptroller, City of Dearborn Heights. I have some totals for you. We are going to be taking about $65,000 out of the library fund balance, which would leave us with $3.7 million left in the fund balance for the library. The general government fund balance right now, we have 17 million in there, 834,000 if you want me to be exact. And we would be taking out of the fund balance 12,000 for travel and education, 10,000 for the treasurer's department, and 50,000 for the legal fees for city council. And that would give us a new balance of $17,762 for the fund balance for general government. The third one would be the water and fund balance that we are going to be taking $243,695 out of that fund balance, which would give us a new balance of a little bit under, well, actually it would be $4 million.
Council Chair?
Councilman Constant.
Wenzel.
Councilman Wenzel.
Thank you. Is our treasurer on Zoom? She's not?
I believe our treasurer just had surgery.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. So we're praying for a speedy recovery for our honorable treasurer. Did you have any other questions?
Oh, I had a question for her, but I guess, I wanted to ask her if she was okay with these amendments, but I guess.
Any other discussions? Seeing none, motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Constant. Please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Next up.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Next up is 9H Corporation Counsel for Reno, Saad Auto Investment LLC petition.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council finds that Saad Auto Investment LLC, despite not having a business license, was an established used car dealer prior to the moratorium. Further, that Saad Auto Investment LLC be granted a business license and be permitted to continue to operate as a used car dealer as outlined in 9-H.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion on this?
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I had some discussion today with Engineer Ali Deeb and Director of Building, Rick. And I think this was sent to planning and was given the license to have only 12 cars. Is Rick on?
See, it looks like it's 8 o'clock. Rick's up at 4.
By the way, Council Chair, I mean, this is like, I think it's grandfathered then. Was purchased, and the building department did give them a CFO to stay as a car dealership. But I want to keep in mind that's only as was outlined by the Planning Commission of only having 12 cars, not more. So I want to make sure that this is.
I will say this. I had a conversation with Mr. Farina, and look, to the investors that purchased this, your realtor or your attorney, I'd actually say your attorney dropped the ball on this. However, I also believe that this place has always been some type of dealership / mechanic shop. And I also believe that if it smells like a duck, it looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, guys, it's a duck. You know, as much as we want to say no more, this isn't a new building that's coming up and saying, hey, we want the council to approve this. This is a building that's been there for X amount of years. And what the former owner of this building didn't go get his business license, well, then the city failed. We failed as a city, ordinance failed. And, you know, somebody coming in here blindly saying, I'm purchasing this place. The con artist, and I don't know who the person is, and I'm not saying that they are a con artists, but it seems to me the person that sold the building knew what was going on, sold it to this person who invested in the city of Dearborn Heights. Council's going to hold back and say, no, wait, you know what? Even though it's a mechanic collision shop and you've been there since 1955, because you're a new owner, we're not going to let you have it. Hang on one second, Councilman. This is fully me, how I feel. I don't want to see more mechanic shops. I don't want more collision shops, especially in the south and especially on Van Born. That's been there. It's been there for many years. And, you know, the question then gets arose, well, what are we going to do when the next person, you know, wants to do this? Or the next person once says, 20 years ago, well, listen, this wasn't 20 years ago. This was a sale between A and B. The new business owner, who I don't know. Honestly, I have no idea. Seems like this gentleman here might be one of them.
I'm the attorney for
This gentleman over, who I truly don't know, but it seems like I've seen you at the last 3-4 meetings, and I thank you for coming here. But at the end of the day, I believe you spoke here, and I'm sorry that you were put in this position. And I don't mean to take a shot at the attorney by saying you dropped the ball, but I'd like to believe you did drop the ball. Okay, you gave me after. Well, you dropped the ball for not bringing him at first. You tried to save the the $2,000 or whatever it is. Should have just hired the man from the beginning.
Council Chair.
But truly, this is how I feel. It doesn't mean I can speak for the rest of my councils here, because I can tell you this. A lot of residents don't want to see any more mechanic shop or collision shops or dealerships in the south end, including myself. However, it smells like a duck, looks like a duck, it quacks like a duck, it's a duck. And right now, it's matching all of those for myself. Councilman Saab.
Thank you, Chair. So yeah, I was actually on the planning commission when this came up, and the young man there, he came here with his architect and everything, and he had a great looking building. Was gonna redesign the whole front, new facade, everything, and honestly, the city did drop the ball here. Because after they gave him permits and CFO and everything, then they went, after he bought the building, they said, well, no. After he spent almost $1 million buying the building, so I truly do believe whoever that falls down to ordinance or whatever did drop the ball on him, and we shouldn't hold him accountable for it, because that's what he bought it as. And I think that building's gonna look, it's gonna have a new image, because I remember seeing the blueprints and everything on it.
Any other discussion?
Council Chair,
Councilman Wanso.
in all due respect to our building department and these gentlemen here, the city of Dearborn Heights is currently under a moratorium for issuing any licenses for used car lots, regardless of the situation. That was a motion made and adopted by city council by our past council chair. He was very forceful on that issue. And right now, we have a moratorium on issuing any licenses for used car lots, right, as we speak right now.
And again, I think the moratorium, I think it stands as any new business.
Well, it is a new business.
No.
Not necessarily.
Just because it existed before as a used car shop or used car lot doesn't, then you could do that to every one that used to be a used car lot.
So, I don't know, does it state that you're not allowed to sell, if you sell a mechanic shop to another mechanic shop or to a new mechanic or a new owner, does it say that they can't, continue to be a new
Council Chair,
owner?
can we hear from the Corp Council?
Yeah, I'm following. I talked to previous council chair about this case, and I was reminded when Gary had handled the Sky Lounge case, which was a moratorium against hookah lounges coming in, and we were, and Gary had agreed that I think that it should have been allowed to stand, although, and the court did rule that how the moratorium would not stop it from opening out. That's the Sky Lounge case a few years ago. So I think that how the fact that it had been operating, and yes, we did drop the ball, it had been operating as a used car dealership. As Council Chair Saab said, this is going to be improved.
Beydoun, Council Chair Beydoun.
I'm sorry, Council Chair.
It's okay. I know you just went through a little bit of.
Yeah. And Councilman Saab had said that it's going to increase. Yes.
Councilman Saab.
Councilwoman?
Councilman.
That woman.
No, I didn't say woman. Councilman Saab had said that the amount of money invested and the view that it's going to go to the Planning Commission saw indicates that how it would be a tremendous boost to that area and a far improvement than the previous used car dealership that was operating before the moratorium.
Thank you, Roger, our Corp Counsel.
Just a quick recap. So this was not just purchased a month ago or 2 months ago. This has been I think over a year since it came to planning, so he's been dealing with the city. And honestly, the attorney we had at the planning commission was supposed to submit something. We never ever got it, so.
Well, I know this is, the Councilman Wanso brings up a good point. I have a question for you, Roger. Say Councilman Ahmad owns a mechanic shop in Dearborn Heights. We have this, no more mechanic shops, collision shops allowed to be opened up in the city in the meantime. Councilman Ahmad then comes sells it to me, and I buy it. Can I get a new business license on that same exact existing business?
Well,
Am I allowed to?
if it was operating and you had it beforehand, yes, it's grandfathered in, right?
Okay, so is this building
Thank you.
grandfathered in?
Yes. Yes, it should be, because it was operating.
And the reason why.
And it had a CFO.
Well, the reason why he's in this position is because the former owner didn't purchase or get a business license for many years.
He did not renew.
Or he didn't renew it for many years. Let me ask you a question. Who's gonna pay for those many years that we missed out on? Will you eat the cost on that? I mean, I want the city to make sure that it's not gonna be much. It's probably gonna be like $100 for each year. It's 4 or 5 years, gonna cost an extra $500, but the city revenues brings its money back for the 500.
If it means a yes vote for you, absolutely.
Council
Madam
Chair,
Chair.
just to be clear, the business at that location, they never had a business license. So the old owner never went to.
Never went. But what about the owner prior to him?
I think that was the first one. There was never a business license for that building.
For how many years did we go without having a business license and this one stop?
Probably didn't have business license back
How
then.
many years has this place been open for, Madam Clerk?
I'd have to look at well, no, we wouldn't have it. We wouldn't have it in our system because there was never a business
So
license.
Tom, let me ask you a question. You lived in the South End for many years. How long has it been there for?
Long time. I mean,
And that's why
10
I
years
couldn't
at least,
issue it.
probably.
This is crazy. I'm finding out more information.
You know,
I got 1 second, sir. I'm so sorry. I will give you your time, but
Council Chair, I mean, you can't reissue a building license when there never was one.
see, that's the problem that we're running into right now.
And also, I mean, living in that area my whole life, and still I live there, I'm curious about how this falls under the Van Born corridor ordinance.
Maybe the owner can give us a breakdown of what you're planning on doing to the facade, if you're making it to beautify it. Because look, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. Nobody wants to look at the eyesore. I don't want to look at the eyesore. The councilman who lives right across the street doesn't want to look at the eyesore, and I'm sure if something happens, maybe one day he'll bring his vehicle and hopefully he never has to use it, but if he does, he will. But we don't want to look at an eyesore. Maybe you guys can give us a quick,
Council Chair, before, can we hear from Ali Deeb first?
or Rick.
How this pertains to the Van Born corridor ordinance also.
Yeah, because Ali Deeb,
Let's go with Ali
Ali
Deeb,
Deeb.
and then we'll go through Rick next.
is Rick here?
Yeah, he's on there. You see his big blue shirt?
Where? Oh, yeah.
Council Chair, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Councilman, Ali Deeb.
No, Councilman.
I know.
Must be the water today.
I agree with Councilman Saab that this item went before the Planning Commission almost a year ago, and that was before we adopted the Van Born overlay, just for the record. So it hasn't been looked at that way because the Van Born overlay was not adopted, was not in place when that case was before the Planning Commission. Two, I understand that it was an existing business because I checked with the building department prior to the review. The improvements that are being made to the business in terms of aesthetics far exceeds, I visited the site just to ensure that we are looking at, an existing business. And the improvement they're talking about in the plan I reviewed will be a great enhancement to what's out there today. Now, the issue with not having a business license is totally new to me. I didn't realize that they were never a business license, but I know that this gentleman thought he bought an existing operation. So that's the predicament that we're in at this point.
Thank you.
Mr. Watland knows more about it.
Thank you, Mr. Deeb.
Council Chair?
Well, before we move forward on
Just I have a
that,
question.
Yeah.
Like, who's responsible in the city for the licenses, like to make sure every business has a license? Do we ordinance?
can we hear from Rick as well?
A new one. We send out reminders 2 months, 4 months before to that your business license, if they have one.
But
We
you would
don't
never know to email them or send something out to this one because you've never had a renewal.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So you want,
Rick, please.
Director, okay. I'm gonna try him again. Oh, wait a minute.
Is unmuted.
There he is.
Good evening.
Good evening. That business was only approved for an auto 4 years ago. And then when we gave the C of O, we sent him to the clerks, which he never went to the clerks. And then he was open for business until this man bought it.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So, and we did not know that they
So,
didn't.
so Rick, did you give them a C of O?
Yes. Yes. We
Council
inspected the building and we gave them a C of O for the car dealer itself.
Council Chair. May I?
Roger. Guys, nothing from the audience, please.
You know, because of this issue and others that I've seen, I've talked with Bill DeShroon. We're having a seminar on February 21st here at City Hall for the citizens to come in and identify issues with the ordinance violations, blight issues, and we can start collecting it. But areas where we've missed the ball, we're trying to put a database together. And from 6 to 8:30, it's the first one we've done. But try to collect all our ordinances so our citizens can let us know, alert us, if we're not responding to some of their complaints or we're ignoring things, that things are falling between the cracks. That was one of my announcements I'm making today. I just wanted to let you know.
All right, guys, I think we've had a lot of discussion on this. Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Constant. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Madam Clerk, can you please take roll call?
Absolutely. Hassan Saab,
Yes.
Mo Baidoon,
Yes.
Robert Constant,
Yes.
Tom Wenzel,
No.
Hassan Ahmad,
Yes.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell,
Yes.
and Nancy Breyer.
Yes.
Motion carries 6-1.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Congratulations, guys. I do ask that you guys please be considerate of our residents, especially in the south end. I hope that we see some greenery, some nice, lifts, maybe power wash it a little bit. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up on the agenda is
Council
9.
Chair, just they're limited to 12 vehicles?
Yes.
Yes.
Definitely.
Make sure,
vehicles. Yeah, I will.
number of
Drive
vehicles.
by every day.
12 vehicles.
Council
Mr.
Chair.
Saad,
Mr. Saad?
please keep it to 12 vehicles as
At a time.
as it sets. Thank you.
In,
Mr. Saad?
yes.
Mr. Saad, can you get with the clerk real quick before, so she can get your
Just make sure
contact
you stop
information?
now.
We can get you the
Now I
bill.
can do it, okay? You know that. Okay.
Thank you. See that? When everybody works in peace and harmony? See that, Roger? Look how happy you are today. I've never seen you smile once. It's the first time. Wow, you're laughing too? Today's a great day. Can't believe it. Round of applause for Roger, our corporation counsel. Awesome. Sir, congratulations. The chair. Thank you. Next up, we have 9I, IT Director Cooper, Purchase and Payment, Police Department Computers.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the purchase and payment of 3 laptop computers for use by lieutenants in the police department for a total cost of $3420. In addition, authorize the mayor and comptroller or clerk to sign the necessary warrants and the treasurer to issue payment from the police federal forfeiture funds account 265-000-636-200. Further, provided the mayor also authorizes any such payment as necessary expense, the city council authorizes warrants to be issued for the payment of these services. By doing so, the city council is authorizing any such warrants and payments without prior authorization by the city council of the specific warrant and payment as permitted by and consistent with City Charter Section 8.9 as outlined in 9-I.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Constant. Any discussion? Councilman Saab.
I have a few questions about these laptops, or are they staying at the police department, or are these going home with these lieutenants?
Go home with them.
And if they go home, what information do they have access to when it's at home?
As I've started to move the city forward, and by the way, David Cooper, Director of Information Technology, as I've started to move the city forward, we are trying to select key individuals and key staff members throughout the city that do have devices that they can be mobile with. Particularly those laptops are going to replace desktops. Is the opportunity for them to take home? Yes, there would be the opportunity for them to take it so they can complete some of the work outside. The access to the server is through a secure VPN service that a lot of individuals throughout the city use. The clerk uses it numerous times to access the server, what they have. A lot of the police department now use our secure government OneDrive, with Microsoft that they can secure their information. They'd have to put the request in, and we would have to request potential access to Clemis information from Clemis for that, that kind of connection. But again, that would be a secure VPN connection provided by Clemis. It's not one of our VPNs. We have to follow their guidelines for it.
So just my question to clarify one thing is people's privacy. So if you take this laptop home and I want to search up David Cooper, can I do that?
Through their Clemis connection?
Through their laptop, yes.
Yes, they can. That is within the guidelines of the CJIS standards by using the Clemis VPN that they provide.
No, well, my question was, can I just open up this laptop like I opened this one up? Just want to look up something about you, I could do it. How is there oversight that to know you just looked up somebody's random name for no reason?
I'm sorry.
So my question is, let me rephrase it. I'm a lieutenant, I take this laptop home. I got somebody comes asks me, hey, what do you know about Bob? I can look up Bob.
That I can say through Clemis, every time they log in and do any kind of lookup, it is logged and tracked.
What I'm saying is, what oversight is on that? If you're going to give somebody a laptop to take home and it has potentially millions of people's information to it, what's the oversight to it?
That's provided by Clemis, the Clemis organization, Oakland Gov.
I understand. What I'm trying to say is, excuse me, Corp Counsel, my thing is that if I went there to search Bob, how would you know I searched Bob? And for what reason? What oversight?
Sign on, they have to.
No,
sign
they're
on.
signed, I understand. What I'm trying to say is, what oversight is on these laptops for privacy for a random citizen? I understand.
Are you saying like there's someone besides lieutenant accessing it? Is that what your question is?
No.
That they're accessing it outside of the police department.
Police department's scope.
Just being a curious lieutenant, Googling somebody doing a search.
Hey, point of order, guys. Let's keep it strictly on Councilman
So
Sapia.
I'm just, again, my thing is when I say oversight, just like the young lady said, just, snooping around. How would you know that? Why, you see Bob,
I don't have oversight of the police in that regards with their Clemis. That is by the police themselves and the Clemis organization themselves that track and log every time they connect into it.
I respect that 100%.
So,
But again, it's oversight at our police department. Currently, there is no oversight at the police department, so I have a hard time thinking that maybe one day if I called up somebody, hey, can you look up so-and-so, and he'd do it, there's no oversight. That's what's scary about these.
Well, I just want to, technically, if you're worried about that, they could do that on site too.
I respect that, but
So
they
I'm
do it
just-
usually in a cop car, GPS, everything it's tracked, everything.
That's what Clemis provides for that. I have to put their software on it that does track all of that. So I want to.
Point of order. Nothing from the audience, please. Is the chief on here? Guys, point of order. Come on. Come on. Vince, please, guys. I don't want to have to ask you to leave. Let's not do that. Roger, go ahead.
For working as a prosecutor, once you log in, it's a criminal act if you're doing stuff like you're saying to do. It's flagged, they get investigated, and it goes to the state police and local agencies. So it's a criminal violation to use it for your own pleasure or your own random searches.
Corp Counsel. I know Clemis very well, and I know they track timestamp GPS on it, and I respect that. What I'm saying is, it is against the law. It is a federal crime. But what oversight would you have having me take this laptop home and search who I want? Am I gonna bring it in every Monday, and are you gonna print out a report why I printed it?
No, it automatically prints it out. It goes to, the Clemis organization will flag the commanders.
So if a cop pulls me over leaving here, and you're gonna tell me it prints out Clemis, and they're gonna question why why they pulled me over, how would they know?
Because they do a police report. Anytime there's a stop or an incident, it's recorded. Everything is recorded. Now we have the body cams. But once they use their computer, they do any search, it goes right to the Clemis, it's checked in, logged in, and then it's a report generated at the end of the week or whatever.
Look, I'm sorry,
Hold
Council.
on, Council Chair, sorry. Again, I respect the Clemis, I respect the training. He does not have a body cam with him at home. My thing is oversight. That question's not being answered. The Prince a report at Clemens. If he's a lieutenant, he's not on the road.
If he's at home and he's using it to search his ex-wife's boyfriend, okay, it will show up, the date, time, and it will show up he used it illegally, and it will be investigated.
I understand.
And he will be charged.
I understand.
He or she.
He or she.
But who's gonna investigate it in the department? How are they gonna know?
Because Clemens tells them, alerts them. It's a whole system set up.
And again, so Clemens tells them about every single person they.
Yes, every time you get into that website.
Can I get that information? Because or can I go look at it?
Yeah, you can, yeah. I'll talk to the chief and you can set up a time.
All right, guys, we're spending a lot of time on this. Any other discussion?
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
Thank you, Council Chair. Director, just remind me, do we have to get 3 bids for this, or how?
I am using the My Deal pricing for this, the Dell, that won the state contract for it.
Come on, guys, come on, man. I mean, this is something that this isn't our first song and dance. Councilman Wenzel, former council chairman, Councilman Ahmad, myself, this is something we've been asking for you, and I'm just gonna be completely bluntly honest with you. Kind of feel like you don't care what this council is requesting.
I do, don't get me wrong. I'm just trying to explain that My Deal has all of that quote already there. The pricing that I get through that and the warranty, the 4-year next day, next parts warranty on that is unmatched.
Councilwoman?
Council Chair. When I was on council as chair, when My Deal was involved, whether it be a fire truck or whatever, that was the bottom line, and we always accepted it because it was already pre-approved.
Correct.
And
Well, you
he went through My Deal. So that's
Correct,
why
but
he
when-
doesn't go for 3 bids.
So let me let you know, there's actually a young lady that's here with us in the audience who went on My Deal, and we found something cheaper outside of My Deal. So My Deal isn't always, it's just more protocol. We request it, we require it, we're okay with it. Doesn't mean it's always cheaper. So technically, we're spending taxpayers' money. That is our job here. And when we're spending taxpayers' money, we want to make sure that we're spending it at the best price, and we're stretching every penny and every dollar. And so I just want you to know.
I get it, I really do.
My Deal might have been cheaper, but you could have brought 2 other bids with it.
Council Chair?
Go ahead, Councilman.
I'd like to, who made this motion? To amend this
Councilman
motion to
Ahmad.
table this
Yes.
until we get 2 more bids on it?
And oversight.
That would be Councilman Ahmad's
Yeah,
decision.
can I still ask questions?
Yeah.
Before I table it? Director, I know over here, I mean, if they come with warranty, over here it says we're still given authorization for payment for any services. What kind of service are we talking about? If it's gonna be.
That's standard language, I didn't put that on
Okay.
there, so I apologize.
Okay.
For the warranty that I get, that I've actually used numerous times for the opportunity you guys have let me purchase through the My Deal in the past, through these exact same computers, they have literally sent out their techs to replace hard drives. They've actually replaced whole entire computers with this 4-year next day warranty on it. They've replaced fans in there numerous times for me. Sometimes you get a lemon.
How many things are going bad so in the last year?
It's a lemon. You get your lemons. I'll say maybe easy a dozen times out of the I think at this point, over 200 computers I've replaced for the city. So that's actually not bad.
Okay.
Director, those lieutenants right now, do they have desktops or they have laptops currently?
They currently have, these lieutenants currently have desktops.
Desktops, so you think it's better just to move everybody to laptops?
They're a key position that, yes, I think moving them to a laptops, not every position the city needs or requires a laptop, but these are positions, yes.
Okay. And if you don't mind, Council Chair, since I have you up here, especially with the case that we had before about the car dealership with Civic Plus, are we able now to connect all city departments together so everybody can be involved between like the building department, the clerk, the ordinance, so they know exactly what's going on? So we don't have to run through this?
That's usually information in BSNA, so
Okay.
that's not Civic Plus.
It depends on who in what department has access to the different ones.
Okay.
Okay, like we have access to water and delinquent personal property taxes, and of course, business license and animal licensing. So we can look up if there's delinquent personal.
Or ordinance and building, I believe, have all that same exact
I don't know
access,
who
yeah.
has what.
I mean, buildings should have access to business license too before they issue CFOs.
I have a spreadsheet of what they're at. I don't know off the top of my head. I'd have to go back and look at my spreadsheet to see what access every department has.
They have to have a certificate of occupancy before they get their business license, just so you know.
You might one more question?
I'm gonna let you go one more, then we got Councilman Constant.
Since if I have you up here, when are we gonna have the building department online, having all the inspections?
So you're talking about taking online payments. We have.
At least having the inspections online, because I've been getting calls every
No,
single day about.
I get that. The first track was to get our Civic Rec up and running, taking the online payments. We have everything configured. I'm just waiting for the proper departments to give the final approval and start taking online payments.
Let's get it done.
Yep.
I can.
We're.
You want me to get you with Rick or?
It's not Rick.
It's not Rick?
We have to take online payments. We have to take payments.
Okay, got you. Okay, thank you, Director.
Councilman Constant?
I'm all set, Council Chair.
Okay, Council Chair, I'll go ahead and amend my motion to table it until we have 2 more bids from the Director.
Okay.
I hope maybe you find us a cheaper bid.
I'll admit, with the warranty, it's pretty much not going to.
Council Chair, just a quick, before you leave, in the bid net, I think there's a lot of bids that are looked at, so it's not one
My
bid
deal,
that's
not
Wednesday.
midnight.
Correct.
So it's more than one, several, so.
My deal. My deal is one bid.
No, again, my deal just is displaying the winner of all the bids.
State's preferred is what it is.
Yes.
It's the state's preferred, does not mean it's the lowest bidder or the best bidder. It's the state's preferred. The city might prefer something else. The council may prefer something else. And again, I'm just using an example of a resident who was here. She went on my deal, she looked up a thing, the product was cheaper. I'm not saying it's the best, but at least present it to the council, because now really, and I know you don't mean this, but I still have to say it, it looks like you're disrespecting the council.
I'm not, sir. I'm not.
Because it's not the first or the second or the third time. And had the councilman not made the recommendation to table this today, it'd be the 4th time today where we've said, please give us 3 bids, yet you've only given us 1. So please, just moving forward, follow, it's policy and procedure. We are sworn to give the residents what they expect and what they need. And so to make a definitive decision, my deal may be the best every single time. Let's 2 other bids with that. So I will support that if, are you gonna, it was actually Councilman Constant.
Well, I'm looking here, so that's $1,140 per computer, which is, it's cheap for 3 Dell computers.
All we're asking is that they give us back. You want to second that?
Yes.
Okay. So motion made by Councilman Ahmad to table this, seconded by Councilman Constant. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?
No.
Okay, Madam Clerk, can you please take roll call?
Denise Malinowski Maxwell.
Yes.
Hassan Saab.
Yes.
Mo Baidoon.
Yes.
Hassan Ahmad.
Yes.
Tom Wenzel.
Yes.
Nancy Breyer.
No.
Robert Constant.
No.
Motion carries 5-2.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I also ask the body that when we're voting, I know it's silent, no response is a yes. But I'd still like to hear, because right now we just had a vote and there was only Councilman Ahmad and myself who said yes. Everybody else was silent. I know our Councilman Breyer said no or nay. I just ask that we all engage in it, please.
I raise my hand every time.
Thank you. Next up, we have ordinance and resolution.
No, I have my motion.
I'm sorry, we have the 3 petitions. Forgive me. 9J, K, and L.
LMN, 9L, 9M, 9N.
LMN.
Thank you. 9L, resolution made by Councilman Saab, motion of no confidence for Corporation Council.
Council Chair.
Councilman Councilman Saab.
In light of substantial concerns regarding the performance and conduct of Corporation Council, I hereby propose a motion of no confidence grounded on the following observations. Number 1, failure to effectively represent City Council. 2, demonstrated hostility towards elected officials. 3, unprofessional expression and emotion towards residents. 4, lack of alignment with city's best interest. 5, failure to provide essential documents when requested by City Council. 6, questioning decisions based on emotional consideration rather than adherence to the city charter. these collective issues prompt a vote of no confidence, signifying that the city council's mistrust in the corporation council's ability to fulfill their responsibilities in the manner that consists with the city's best interest and performance standard. And Council Chair, I'd like to put a few comments to this before we vote.
Before that,
Oh, I'm sorry,
motion
second.
made by Councilman Saab.
Support.
Seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any discussion on this?
Yes, Council Chair.
Councilman
You know,
Saab.
Corp Council, Lynn, everybody, clerk, it's just the way, just the respect is earned. It's not just given. And I feel like every time, Roger, there's an email going out, everything gets it's hostile. If a resident comes up, you want to go up there and speak as a resident, hostile. If we ask you, if we're making a decision based on what we're able to do as a body, it falls under emotions. I mean, are you working for the mayor's office or are you working for the city? And personally, I feel that you don't represent the council, you represent the mayor, because we can never get an answer. We've asked you, I've been on, this is my third meeting. I think Councilman Ahmad has asked you 2 or 3 times about opinions from the Great Seal. Have you got them yet, Councilman Ahmad? No. No. And this is why I put this motion forward. Thank you.
Council Chair?
Yes.
Councilman Constant.
Well, with all due respect to Councilman Saab, there's an old saying, don't kill the messenger. Corporation Counsel, and he's an experienced attorney, has always provided information. It may not be the answer we want. I have not seen any unprofessional expression of emotions towards residents. Again, let's not kill the messenger, I looked up what a motion of no confidence is. It's a parliamentary procedure, like, in England, if the parliament has a vote of no confidence and then they elect a new prime minister. But I think these issues are better addressed in a study session about, the whole council, the mayor, separation of powers, than, this, I don't know what it means, a motion of no confidence.
Thank you, Councilman. Any other discussion? I actually have a few things to state. I had this conversation with Roger. So I reviewed the last meeting, and there's a buddy of mine here who created this clip, and it says how many times I've said, Roger, please. It was 33 times. And point of order, Roger, was said 16 times. This is something that was made at the last meeting by my buddy who's in the audience and in the leather jacket. And it looked bad. I received phone calls from residents who told me, Michael Owens, for one, who said to me, I didn't like the way you were continuing to be disrespected by Roger. Now, I don't think that I got thick skin. I can take the back and forth, but at the end of the day, it's the position. I always say there are times where people get up and want to say something to the mayor. You still have to respect the chain of command. You got to respect that he's the mayor. You still got to respect that this is a council chamber. This is the council body. And if the council feels a certain way, Roger, I really hope that wholeheartedly, I believe you're truly an honest, good man. But I think you're failing to realize that we're not in a courtroom. We are seeking your advice. And it seems always, at every given time, like I'm using words that are attorney words, always, all the time. It's never in support or a true, honest answer to this body, to this council. I'm going to be completely honest. I didn't have the best relationship with our former corporation counsel, but when I asked the question, regardless if it was in favor of, the mayor at the time, Bill Bazzi, or not, if it was the best decision for the city, I always felt that. Regardless if I liked them or not, because I felt like some of the answers were a little screwed and long, and, I felt like I had to, open up a dictionary a couple of times to read some of the statements. But I always felt like it was a one-sided. And I truly believe that you give us a one-sided response. And I hate that this was even brought forward. But I saw, even some discussion between you and the clerk. And I was alarmed. I was shocked. At the end of the day, this is a woman. I won't get into detail with it,
But I will tell you, as my wife who's a professional, I would never want another man to speak to my wife that way. I want you to know that it came out very disrespectful. And to all of our working women, if there are men out there that are pushing you around or bullying you around, speak up for yourself and defend yourself. That's really all I have to say on that. Any other discussion?
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I mean, I love Roger, but the thing is, I mean, I couldn't say any better than you, but that's the only reason why I've been asking for our own special legal counsel. Because I didn't see that he give us the advice we were looking for. And you're right, he's always in favor of the mayor. And that's why I think I'm supporting this motion for Councilman Saab. Thank you, Council Chair.
Any other discussion? Council Chair. Councilman Wenzel. What ramifications does this have as a no confidence? Really nothing. I think it's just a statement by this council stating
How we feel.
how we feel. It's like what they did with Rashida, where they tried to censor her. Doesn't mean that she has to stay silent. Simply saying that the majority of Congress doesn't agree or stand in favor of the Congresswoman. Any other discussions?
Council Chair.
Councilman Constant.
Well, and to Councilman Wenzel's point, I just think these issues are better addressed than this motion being put on on the last minute. I think there's, maybe some research to be done. So you ask for an opinion about, whatever.
Maybe things will change, Councilman, but I'm going to tell you right now, I truly, as me, I'm not speaking for the whole entire council. I don't feel, when sitting up here, Roger's advising this council. I don't feel that way. To be honest with you, I feel like I'm getting my advice from you sometimes at times. And I know I get respected as an attorney, you're able to share that information, but it just seems aggressive and hostile and emotional, and it doesn't need to be that way.
It becomes an occupational hazard for a lawyer to argue his point, because when you're in court, you have 2 minutes and the judge is sitting back and, to complete his thought, argue his point.
But
That's what I see.
Yeah.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
Thank you, Council Chair. I mean, Councilman Constant, I mean, to give you an example, when I brought the motion for the police petty cash credit card, I mean, I think for the Corp Council, his place is just to advise me whether I could do it or not to question how I feel or my feelings, or to stand there for the chief or the mayor. I mean, right there, he wasn't even standing for the council. He was standing for the mayor and the chief, even though the chief didn't even need him. And he didn't even I didn't even ask him for the advice, because I know I had my right to bring that motion forward. So, I mean, we all voted to have those, I mean, most of us to have the special legal counsel, because I think we feel we're not getting that service from the Corp Council. So this is just basically telling him how we feel, and hopefully, this is on record, so hopefully he can change and maybe see the other side. Thank you, Council Chair.
Thank you. Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any other discussion? All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
Madam Clerk, please take roll call.
Hassan Ahmad.
Yes.
Robert Constant.
No.
Nancy Breyer.
No.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell.
Yes.
Mo Baidoon.
Yes.
Hassan Saab.
Yes.
Tom Wenzel.
Yes.
Motion carries 5-2.
Next up is, sorry, I know this is not on here. I had to bring it out.
9M.
We are at 9M, motion of no confidence for Chief Jared Hart.
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
Put a motion forward whereas Chief Jared Hart is engaged in political involvement beyond the scope of his responsibility designated for as a law enforcement official and encroaching upon matters that serve for elected officials. And whereas Chief Hart has demonstrated a pattern of undermining decisions made by City Council, thereby compromising a democratic decision-making process. And whereas Chief Hart has openly defied council decision creating a discoordinate relationship between the legislative body, and whereas Chief Hart lacks the authority to supersede or dictate decisions made by this legislative body, and such authority lies within the purview of elected officials. I hereby resolve that the city council formally expresses a vote of no confidence in the chief, Jared Hart, due to his aforementioned reasons. This motion is a testament of our commitment to preserving the separation of powers and upholding the authority of the legislative body and municipal government. And council, and can I get a
Hold on.
second?
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Ahmad.
Council Chair.
Any discussion?
Yes. Council Chair, we go back to this. When we passed the resolution on the 9th, the next day, Chief sends out an email, and he's in full defiance of City Council, saying that they're going
Guys,
to
point of order.
continue their we had illegally did what we did. He's going to continue with keep individuals employed. They're going to get paid, have their benefits. He has no authority whatsoever to say or do what this body advises or does or in which direction it goes in. Secondly, Chief Hart, again, when on his emails, he was in open defiance of council. Last I checked, the chief is an employee of the city. He's not an elected official. He holds absolutely no authority over the legislative body. And let that be entered on the record, that the motions we passed today and we re-adopted and re-voted on and super vetoed, that they be immediately put in effect. And this goes to the mayor's office, Roger, the comptroller, and the treasurers. This was made by the legislative body, not the chief. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad.
I'm not going to repeat everything Councilman Saab said, but he has a point. We voted on something, the next day he sends that email to the department and claiming that we did something illegal. I think he has.
Last I checked, he's not an attorney.
Yeah, he's
point of
in no
order.
position
Point of
to
order.
send such an email or to put such a claim. For that reason, Council Chair, I'm supporting Councilman Saab on this motion as well.
Thank you, Councilman. And, I want everybody to know, I come from a respected family of law enforcement. My brother-in-law, the Director of Homeland Security, my brother-in-law's brother, the Undersheriff of the Wayne County Sheriff's Department. I myself, as a Wayne County Sheriff Reserve, I love our first responders. I would love our fire department, police department. Truly, as a kid, I'd see a cop and I had the biggest smile till today. Call me weird, 33 years old. I see an officer and I want to wave and smile. It's just something that resonated with me as a child. And Jared Hart is somebody that I respect, regardless on the political stance. I respect Jared Hart. This man has had a heart attack in the city of Dearborn Heights because he's overwent so many things. And I've given him my respect. I cannot tell you that this is a two-way street. And, this wouldn't be the first time that Jared Hart disrespected me. I will tell you that I was disrespected by a director who then I went to the police chief and I went to him once and I said, 1, 2, 3 happened to me. Will this individual be reprimanded? Nothing was done. I went to him the second time. And the chief was present at both times that I was disrespected. I walked up to him. Will anything happen? Nothing was done. A vote was made by the council. Chief Hart sent out to the entire police department to not respect the council, to allow them to disrespect every single person for the majority of this council because not everybody voted on it. And his email states, and I'm going to read verbatim what was said from our police chief to the entire police department, which is basically disrespecting Councilman Wenzel, Councilwoman Minalowski-Maxwell, Councilman Ahmad, Councilman Beydoun, Councilman Saab, who voted as the majority on this resolution. And it states, good afternoon. I want to clarify that the chain of command after City Council illegal defunding, we will never defund the police, Chief Hart. We will support more police officers and give more money to the police department. We will not defund the police department. I will tell you, I come from a family of law enforcement. We are not defunding the police. We are asking for policy and procedure. Please, don't paint it any other way. He continues to state the defending of Director Swope and Vanderpaal's position during last night's meeting. The directors remain employed with full pay and benefits and in full command of their respective division. Stay safe, Chief Hart. This is a slap in the face to this body. This is a slap in the face to the council. And why I voted today when I asked the question to the mayor, what are we going to do
about making sure that this council is no longer being disrespected. Nothing was said. Instead, we were disrespected, not once, but he sent an email just a couple of days ago saying he's on leave, but keep in mind, those directors are staying because the council acted illegally. So if we are acting illegally, please call the FBI, call Kim Worthy, call the Attorney General's office, and let them come arrest us. But until then, don't tell me we're acting illegally. Any other discussion?
Council Chair? Council Chair, I think it's a slap to the face to all the residents, because we represent the residents.
Councilman, we're gonna make a vote on this. But I want you to know, to my colleagues that are gonna make a vote on this, I want you to know that based on your vote here, is gonna tell me how you feel about this council and if we've done something illegally. I don't believe I've ever done anything illegal, and if I did, I want to be prosecuted. And if I need to be prosecuted, let the courts decide that. Because the last I checked, everybody's innocent until proven guilty. Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any other discussion? All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
No.
Nancy
Madam Clerk,
Breyer.
please take roll call.
Nancy Breyer.
Contract is a contract, guys.
Nancy
All
Breyer.
contracts.
Nancy Breyer.
Go ahead.
No.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell. Yes. Moby Dun.
Yes.
Hassan Saab.
Yes.
Hassan Ahmad.
Yes.
Tom Wenzel.
Yes.
Robert Costello.
No.
Motion carries 5-2.
I'm sorry if I was a little emotional, guys. Next up on the air, we have a motion of no confidence for Mayor Bill Bazey.
Council Chair.
Motion made, Mr. Councilman Saab.
Council Chair, in light of serious concerns surrounding Mayor Bazey's action, I propose a motion of no confidence based on the following reason. Number one, violation of city charter by the mayor. 2, defiance of authority vested in city council. 3, demonstrated lack of respect towards duly elected officials. 4, suspected professional hiring practices allegedly based on personal connection rather than merit. 5, alleged influence on how administrators treat individuals in the city. Fostering a system that appears to reward compliance over fairness. These cumulative issues compromise the integrity of the leadership and raise debates about the mayor's commitment to principle and transparency, fairness, and adhere to established protocol. Therefore, a vote of no confidence is worded to express the city council's loss of trust in Mayor Bill Bazey's ability to lead with accountability and fairness.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any discussion?
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab, I ask that you also keep it respectful.
Absolutely. I've asked the mayor a few times about some positions that came up in the past. If anybody had asked him, or if he bought these positions, or somebody had told him about these positions, he would never answer yes or no. And that's one of the reasons I put there. Secondly, when I say about administrators, how they treat individual, going back to the chief, he appointed the chief. He's allowing the chief to step on everybody that residents elected. That's not gonna happen. And I'm disappointed. And honestly, our clerk, I go back, because he's the executive administrator. The amount of stuff she is taking is unbelievable. Every morning I wake up to an email. It's bullying. It's bluntly bullying. And I'm putting that on the record. And things have to change in the city. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Council Chair.
Councilman Constantine, do you have something? Councilman Ahmad.
I'm going to be brief. I mean, I said it before, and I'm going to say it again. No one is above the charter. And, I mean, it happened here. He did violate the charter, and he's doing it again. And, you know, I guess that's why I'm supporting Councilman Saab with this motion. Thank you again.
Councilman Constant.
Well, Council Chair, I listened well when you mentioned some of the things about our police chief, and I do recall some of those things, and whether that is, within the scope of his employment or not, or, it made me think. But again, I just think there's another way to address these issues where we come up with some changes or some substance other than this.
I want to answer to you, Councilman. You know me. I call you. We have a conversation. We've had lunch. I admire you and respect you. And Councilman Ahmad took me under your wings, or Councilman
Abdullah, former council chair, you and him took me under your wings. Any question I had my first year, who did I reach out to you? It was to you and Councilman Abdullah. And I try to hold in as much information that you guys have given me. And if you think for a second that I haven't picked up the phone or personally met with both the mayor or the chief and tried to reconcile our relationships, I'd be remiss if I left this information out today. Because I have tried that approach. I have tried to reach out and to be a good standing person to this community and to try to work in harmony. I truly did. I did. I can't tell you that it was a two-way street. But, you know, to say that things didn't get a little better, they did. At least I thought they did. Instead, I got a phone call from a council member and said, I received a phone call from the police chief who told me not to vote for you as the council chair. Why? Why in what world? What world does that happen in? Is that normal?
No.
No, it's not. And it's disappointing. But you know what I'm not going to do? I'm not going to let my emotions get the best of me. But what I am going to do is I'm going to make it noted. I'm going to make it stated. We are not going to be disrespected, Councilman. If somebody disrespected you, if you were sworn in by a director, are you going to be okay with it?
I got a thick skin after practicing law for 36 years.
Okay. Well, at the end of the day, you're disrespecting the council member. You're disrespecting the residents when they do that to you, though. If a director gets up and swears at you, not once, not twice, but 3 times, you're okay with it?
No.
Neither am I.
Council Chair, one more comment, I'm sorry. So this past week, the chief also, regarding this incident about the chief trying to get politically involved and swaying votes and whatever, that Council Chair sends out an email. And Mayor responds back, I've just appointed a new position he made, Vanderplow, former Director Vanderplow, to Director of Internal Affairs. Again, violating the charter. You know, trying, and then from what I heard over the years, sitting here, where every resident sitting there, we had the DOJ, we had a ton of investigations going on. Rapidly, as soon as this guy becomes Internal Affairs, he's up to 5-6 investigations within an hour. Are those investigations or is that retaliation? And second of all, last I checked on the state's website and information I'm based on, you can't be Internal Affairs and investigate somebody criminal if you're not AMCO certified. And that's another issue of its own. Mayor's creating positions to his buddies, his friends, or whoever he wants to. Just, he's gone rogue, bluntly.
Thank you.
Thank you. Council Chair?
Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell.
Malinowski.
I memorized your list. Melanowski.
Yeah, for the record, I just want to say the chaos and disrespect for the entire clerk's office and council has been happening since I was council chair 3 years ago.
Thank you.
And it has not changed. And I tried to be calm about it, but there was no fixing it back then even.
Thank you. And I'm just going to add a few closing remarks here. I'm sorry for coming off emotional on the last 9M. But I want you to know, I swear, guys, I'm such a nice person. You can yell at me, you can scream at me, you can punch me. If you ask me for forgiveness, I swear every single time I'm going to forgive you. That's just who I am as a person. But when I continue to reach an olive branch and you continue to cut it down aggressively, it's hard. You're putting me in a position, it's unprecedented, that I've never been like. And you're enabling a side that's unreconcilable because you don't want to. But I will go back to the mayor on this. If you recall, former Councilman Abdul Haq wanted to put this on, and I opposed it. I said, no, let's not do it. Regardless if the mayor's last vote was to vote Mo Beydoun no on to being on council, which I didn't forget, I still didn't hold that against him. Or if it was to not support me for my reelection, or if it was for any of the other things that he did, because the list goes on. I still said I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because I'm a good person. That's who I am. But most recently, as I stated, I was being disrespected by a director. I asked the mayor, hey, 1, 2, and 3 happened. I asked Roger, who said he was going to get back to me. I asked the police chief, who said he was going to get back to me. And not one person who had the respect for me, who I went out of my way and I said, I'm going to put our differences aside and I'm going to respect them. I'm still going to respect you. But I see how disrespectful you are to me. And I hate that it's gotten this way. I hate that this is where we are. But this whole we're at war,
or watch what I'm gonna do to the council, or I'm gonna report this to this person, or this is under investigation. Councilman, please.
Council Chair.
I want to make it clear, the bullying isn't going to happen, the intimidation tactics aren't going to happen. This is a very, very strong front, I think, right here. And the clerk is somebody also that I spoke about earlier who does a lot for the city of Dearborn Heights. She engages our residents, she engages our seniors, she engages our NHS students. She's at every city event. Have a working relationship with our clerk. I don't care what your differences are. You may not like us, agree on certain things. Work with your clerk. That's an elected official. The same way the mayor receives 70% of the votes, so did the clerk.
And the treasurer.
And the treasurer. And the council chair.
Council Chair.
So I want to keep it calm, but I'm going to leave you with just two quotes that I truly love. A moment of patience during a moment of anger will save 1,000 moments of regret. And pride is the horse that will ride you into failure. Don't be too prideful. Thank you.
Council Chair, I think
Councilman Wenzel.
Thank you. I just wanted, these three resolutions just show that our concern over these three positions. And hopefully, these will change. And this is not something that we want to get these guys out right now necessarily. This is saying, hey, we're concerned about these matters. If you think there's something that's wrong here, reach out to us and let us know. Otherwise, we're just saying, hey, we're concerned about these
100%.
issues.
Yes. We're saying no more disrespect.
Council Chair.
Councilwoman Breyer.
I'd like to make a statement at this time. I believe our charter says that council people should speak no more than twice on the same subject and no more than 3 minutes.
Charter does not state that. Robert Rules of Order states that. We're not dictated by Robert's Rules of Order. Next.
Yeah.
Vote. Motion made by Councilman Saab, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any other discussion? All in favor, please state aye. Aye. Those opposed?
No.
No. Madam Clerk, please take roll call.
Robert Constant.
No.
Tom Wenzel.
Yes.
Hassan Saab.
Yes.
Nancy Breyer.
No.
Mo Baidoon.
Yes.
Denise Malinowski Maxwell.
Yes.
And Hassan Saab.
Hassan Ahmad.
Hassan Ahmad.
Yes.
I seen it right there.
Pretty popular.
You see me looking at you, looked at me. Motion carries 5-2.
Next up on the agenda, we have ordinance and resolution. Item 11A.
Council Chair,
Councilman Ahmad, thank you.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the resolution regarding the street safety grant recently received by the city and that the following be resolved.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to read the top at 11A.
Okay.
Council Chairman Baidoon. What's that?
We didn't announce that the vote passed by.
Motion carried.
No, they should have.
Yeah, motion carried. Next up, we have Councilman Chairman Baidoon in honor of Joey Smith's resolution, Street Safety Grant Initiative.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the resolution regarding the street safety grant recently received by the city and that the following to be resolved. Whereas the city of Dearborn Heights has recently received a street safety grant in the amount of $400,000 and additionally has access to $600,000 from the ARPA funds. And whereas ensuring the safety of our children is of paramount importance to the community, and whereas improving lighting, floor marking, and signage around schools has been identified as a significant measure to enhance public safety. And whereas it is imperative to provide equal resources for all school districts within the city, now therefore be resolved that the City Council hereby approves the allocation of $1 million from the street safety grant and ARPA funds to implement the following safety measures: installation of additional lighting around all schools within the entire city of Dearborn Heights with a focus on areas identified as having insufficient illumination, application of floor paint around all schools located with a 1 mile radius, clearly marking school zone on the floor to increase visibility and raise awareness of the presence of schools, placement of signs and flashing yellow lights indicating school zones in strategic location near schools, ensuring better recognition and adherence to safety regulations. Be it further resolved that the allocated funds and resources will be distributed equally among all school districts within the city, ensuring that every district benefits from the proposed safety measures. Be it further resolved that this resolution shall be known as the safety for our children.
Call it the Joey Smith.
Be known as the Joey Smith safety for our children resolution, respectively submitted on this day by Council Chair Mo Baidoun as outlined in 11-8.
Second.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. Any discussion on that?
Council Chair, I just want to thank you for bringing this resolution. I mean, this is it's, I guess, late better than nothing, but now better than nothing. But thank you very much for bringing this, and hopefully the administration will jump on this and start working on it and have our children safe.
Councilman, I just want to thank you for that, and thank you for taking the initiative to read it as well. I want you guys to know, I don't know where this is going to go. This just may be another resolution that we put forward that might end up nowhere. But I tell you that it's been a little over a year and a half since Joey Smith passed away. And we're still witnessing around our schools and around our city the lack of lighting, the lack of street signs, the lack of flashing lights during school zones. I promise you guys, not that I'm just somebody that likes to go out and eat in Birmingham often, but my wife likes this one breakfast place that we go to all the time. And every time I get onto Southfield, where it turns into the actual expressway, school zone. Before it gets there, school zone. Flashing yellow lights, green signs of pedestrians walking, stripes everywhere. Those cities are no better than us. Garden City is no better than us. I know that for a fact. We have a better council. I can attest to that.
Yes.
And seeing something like this that we are still holding off. I know it's this January, but in June, July, May, June, July, this should all be taken care of. And I promise you, you don't need to spend $1 million. But we have up to $1 million. And you might not even spend $100,000, but you have up to $1 million. Let's start taking our children more serious. Let's start putting the residents first. I have a son now. I have a son now and a daughter. I want my kids to be able to walk to Kennewick Elementary School or Highview or Hillcrest or OW Best. And if it's at nighttime because it's 5 o'clock because they're leaving wrestling practice from Crestwood or Annapolis or Robichaud or any of the private schools in the city, let there be light. The University of Michigan Ann Arbor is doing that for a reason. They want safety for their children, for their students who live and reside here. We don't want to end up like one of my favorite redhead tells us in like other cities, because we're starting to look like that. And I'm not here to run any other city through the mud, but we're looking like a very dark city. And we need more lighting. We need more police presence. And we need more safety for our children. And so I'm hoping that this body here will cancel out the noise. Hopefully that we can spend up to $1 million on non-taxpayer money, but a grant and ARPA funds. $600,000 from ARPA funds, $400,000 from this grant that we just received. And if we haven't received it yet, great. When we do receive it, please use it.
Council Chair.
Councilman Ahmad.
I don't know if I can, if you're okay with it. I would like to amend this motion and add a time frame to it, and hopefully all this to be done before school year of 2020.
But the fall.
By the fall.
Yeah.
So all the planning, all whatever, and maybe start the work in June and have it done before.
I would like to amend this motion to state that and to state that this wasn't just respectfully submitted by Council Chairman Mo Baidoun, but every single one of us here on this council.
Council Chair.
That's where I would like to be, but
Okay,
let me get the mayor first.
I want to make a point, with this here. I mean, everybody's trying to do the same thing here. That's why we're going with the funding scout, trying to get, grant money. So I'm not sure if Mr. Deep called you earlier today.
We did have a good conversation.
So we have $496,000 grant right now. So there's a match of $100,000 to that grant. So the ARPA money is actually, it's restricted to water and sewer because we already took the other money for the revenue loss. So the rest of the money that we have in ARPA, I just want to be clear, it's actually restricted to water and sewer. We are still seeking right now funding for this here. So again, the ARPA money is federal money. So we have to be careful how we spend that money. So we are seeking other funding, Council Chair. So I just want to make sure that you guys are aware. So if you say ARPA, and ARPA is not for streets, we're actually trying to get other funding. We did get this this grant, and the funding scout we meet weekly with them, try to achieve or try to get other grants to make sure that we have enough money to make sure that everything we're talking about in this resolution is done. And again, they are doing a design. So this resolution talks about design, just painting. We're going to do more than just painting.
That's great. Do more.
So, but we got to make sure that we don't put the ARPA. It has to come from a special other funding just for the
Mayor,
streets.
we've spent, hang on one second. I want to just respond, please, if that's okay. Mayor, we've spent our ARPA money on a lot of things that are on a lot worse things. And I want to tell you, I'm just reading it off of the United States Department of Transportation. It says here, total federal funding, $396,700. So I don't know, maybe this is a whole different thing that you're talking about.
No, you're correct, Council Chair, but there's also $100,000 that we have to.
Great, let's use it. But as far as ARPA funding, Mayor?
So it's a total of 496. My point is the ARPA, it's only restricted to water and sewer. Again, this is for it's a federal grant, the ARPA.
ARPA, we've never agreed that ARPA's only going to go to water and sewer.
It's not us, Council Chair, it's the federal government. If you go look at ARPA, it tells you what it's used for. You can take part of it for revenue loss, and which we already did, and that's where some of the money was used on what you're mentioning.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I'm going to have to disagree. I think that I think the money's being put aside for other things. I think $600,000. If we have to go to court with the federal government to pay up to $600,000, I think we'll deal with that later on. Go ahead.
I don't think you want,
So-
Council Chair, to
Council.
say something like that.
Hang on, I'm going to have the councilman go next. Councilman Wanso, and then you.
Council Chair, last I checked, you can use ARPA for infrastructure, sidewalks, crossing, that's infrastructure. And that's number one. Number two.
And safety.
And, which is infrastructure. And then my other thing is there's no price to safety. There's no dollar amount to safety. Honestly, there isn't. And whatever the excuse is, I honestly think this should be at $1.5 million. Lighting, electronic stop signs, with solar lighting, everything. The city lacks in everything. And I mean, instead of spending this money, and I mean, remember, the rest of the money in the ARPA went into the general fund. So how is it restricted?
Because it went to revenue loss.
But where's the rest of the money?
14 million is set aside.
For infrastructure.
Correct.
You can't just for water. Water is part of infrastructure.
Correct.
And Corp Counsel, am I wrong? Thank you. So a sidewalk and a crossing walk, or that's not infrastructure?
Well, you have to follow what the federal guidelines say. So, and I would not.
I'm honestly, I'm asking a
You asked me
simple
a question. I'm trying to.
Sidewalks are not infrastructure?
Do you want me to
Yes.
answer
But
it?
I want a yes or no question.
Okay, well, I don't do yes or no's, okay? First
I
of
want
all,
with
you're
emotions.
asking not a yes or no question. You're asking, is this infrastructure with the ARPA money? And there are
I'm sorry,
clear
time out.
federal
Hang on,
guidelines.
hang on.
Council Chair.
Finish. Let him
if I
finish.
talk,
You asked him for a question, you got to let the corporation counsel finish.
Yes.
If it's already itemized and listed as what the federal government will permit, will allow. I would not make a statement that we'll fight the federal government, no disrespect, because it costs us, the taxpayers, money. But I would say that if you would follow what the mayor is saying, and you will follow what the professionals are saying, what ARPA allows, then you'll get your answer. If you want to go forward with what you think is right, over what the professionals are saying are right.
Are we not
then you're
professionals?
going to do what you want. You want me to define what you are?
Yes.
No, the professionals in this field. Are you a brain surgeon? Are you a heart surgeon? Are you working with ARPA in the federal government?
Who is working with ARPA that's a
designated?
professional here?
That's the question.
BLN, that we paid
asking me a
$1.5 million to?
What'd you say?
Oh, I'm sorry, 1.35?
Council
Go ahead,
Chair.
Councilman Wanso.
Thank you. There's lots of monies in this ARPA fund that are unrestricted. We took out money, set aside money for crucial workers that worked during COVID that has never been dished out yet, these workers. And that was voted on by city council and never implemented. We took out, I had a motion to take out, hold $700,000 of the unrestricted. There's a lot of this money is unrestricted, which means it doesn't have to you don't have to even have a reason. It doesn't fall underneath the regulations of the federal government for spending ARPA money. So it's like you can spend it for just about anything you want as long as you tell them what it's for. And I think what we should do is, taking 100,000, let's do some kind of study session where we have the people that know how much money do we have in there extra. If we have 2 million in there, let's take the 2 million and do it. You know, let's make Dearborn Heights the safest city for our children in the country. You know? Let's do a study, see how much money we have left unrestricted after we take the money out to pay our critical workers during COVID. Let's see exactly how much we've got in there. It could be a lot more, it could be a little bit less, but let's be fiscally responsible and look into it, and maybe we can spend a lot of money, because I've talked to Margaret King about this, and I think the city council should appoint a public safety commission, not in the ways that you're regulating police or fire, but a committee that looks into things, like Margaret's very thorough about looking into stuff. You know, what's the best way? Maybe these signs with the little kids cross the street is not the best. Maybe a little tiny yellow flashing sign, you know, LED, solar-powered light, cheap light might be the best way. And I think we should, you know, appoint a committee and make her chairperson of this committee. I mean, she's done the most for this thing in the last year and a half. And I think this is something that we should look into. And I've said it before, why can't Dearborn Heights be the best at something? And this is a perfect opportunity for us to be the safest city for our residents in the country, Michigan, or anywhere. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Ahmad.
Council Chair, I did some research and I found that the city of Milwaukee, they operate about 79,000 street lights, and they did allocate $10 million from the ARPA funds for the street lighting. So I guess we can use it from ARPA.
It's infrastructure.
Infrastructure, so we can use it. I mean,
I just want you to know, I also asked for a legal opinion on this.
Okay.
On myself regarding, is this okay? Are you allowed? Because I heard the chatter, especially after our phone call with Mr. Dave saying that this was just a planning, this money was just for planning. Then I opened it up to the actual.
Development.
And it said planning and development. But any other discussions on this?
Council Chair.
Councilman Constant.
Well, and I applaud your motion. The safety around schools is just very important, and just acknowledge that Joyce Smith's mother is here. I live about 2 blocks away, and it was a terrible tragedy, and we want to see whatever we can do to prevent accidents like this happening again.
Thank you so much. All right, guys, we're not going to move forward on this one. Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you very much for that, guys. Next up is new business.
Council Chair, I'm sorry. You got my amendment too about adding the timeline?
Yeah.
I would like to amend my motion to have a timeline to be, all work to be done before next school year.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman
Let's
Saab.
say August 31st of 2024.
That's really aggressive, but I mean, it's something we can shoot for. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done.
It's been a year and a half, sir. We have all of our studies.
No, I'm saying it's pretty aggressive, but, you know, we can definitely.
I'm sorry, just, Mr. Janney, how long has it been for the, crosslight on Beach? Couple years?
Honestly, I've been fighting for it, no lie, through the school board and through here, 10 years.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Janney.
Council
Guys,
Chair.
nobody from the audience, please, we ready to make a vote on this?
All right, I'm
Please.
just going to reference the one you're talking on Beach Daily.
Yeah.
We have an issue with approximately 10 power lines. I don't know if it can be done that fast.
Nice. How did you get this information?
From Mr. Deeb.
Nice. I wish Mr. Deeb would
He
have
sent it to everyone.
I did not receive
I saw it
anything.
yesterday in the office.
Council Chair, this is a perfect example of a public safety commission where they could gather information.
I
You know,
agree to that.
Margaret King could gather information and give her the authority to talk to Mr. Deeb and inform him that he's to give her all the information he knows, or she could contact the police department, say, what are you doing? Or contact the fire department, or contact the DPW department, and give that person, I'm not saying her, but give that person the authority and tell all the directors to give her the information she's requesting.
Thank you. Motion made by the amended motion made by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilman Saab. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. Motion carries. Next up on the agenda is new business, 13A temporary food truck tent cart license application.
Council Chair.
Councilman Constant.
I move that the Dearborn Heights City Council approve the temporary food truck tent cart license application for Smashed LLC as outlined in 13B.
Support.
Motion made by Councilman Constant, seconded by Councilman Ahmad. Any other discussion? Any discussion? All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Good luck to Smashed LLCs. Next up, we have members of the public. We're going to start off with comments from council members.
Council Chair.
Councilman Saab.
Council Chair.
Point of order, Council Chair.
Point of order, guys. Point of order. Hey, if he wants to leave, please stop.
So,
This is a council meeting.
first and foremost, I want to wish our Tom Winsall a happy birthday. Belated happy birthday. Happy birthday, Tom. Second off, I want to bring something up about the police department resolutions we put on the 9th. Let's not forget about what the chief sent out about the K-9 dogs too. Said that those are gonna continue on or not. We just we wanna move forward and say that those resolutions stand. Council's firm. Those dogs are not gonna be a part of the department. This is a decision this body made, and this is a decision we're gonna stick to. And as for the directors, once again, clerk, I hope you pass the message over to the controller and whatever process HR and everything has to go, that these positions are eliminated and effective immediately.
Yeah.
And this is a super veto on it. Thank you. And then, as for safety, again, we go back, man, there's no price you can put on safety. Honestly, there's absolutely no price. One kid injured or one kid killed is one too many. I always say that. And I truly believe that this council should adopt and allocate money for our own grant writer in-house for the city to get all the grants that we have, for safety, for equipment, police grants, fire grants, safety grants, infrastructure grants, flooding grants, everything. Just the company we're dealing with now is they're pretty much robbing us. And I truly believe that when the budget comes up, that the number one priority should be a grant writer and get that
I think
done.
Councilman Ahmad for that one. He's been begging for it.
Well, we're gonna get it. We're gonna get it this time.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Anyone next?
Council Chair, just make it brief. Happy belated birthday, Councilor Winslow. And I don't know if we can request from Secretary if we can send an email to the administration to ask about the master plan as a request, please. Because we haven't heard anything about the master plan for the city, and it's been 2 years now. Thank you, Council Chair.
All right, thank you, guys. I am going to keep it brief, simple. I want to wish our very own Councilman Winslow a happy birthday. Thank you. 40 never looked so good.
40?
You're right, 35. 35. Really, I also want to thank Mr. Dana Parrish. I see that his hand is here. I don't think anybody thanked him for putting our name plates, even though he spelled my last name without a D. It's Bayonne. It's French. Bayonne. It's great. I'm glad that we're able to bring some laughter and some joy here.
Yeah.
Quickly, also, I know that, our meeting actually, for such a long meeting, I think it went fast. I think this council, let's try to keep these meetings short, simple, sweet, keep it moving. We didn't spend too much time. I thank you guys for that. Whoever's next, go ahead.
Council Chair.
Councilman Constant.
Go ahead. Councilman Ahmad?
Councilman Wenzel, go ahead.
Thank you.
It's your birthday.
Just a couple things. The reason I voted no on the attorneys just because I just wanted one, and just so everyone know that the other firm, one of the owners or one of the main attorneys in that firm is one of our judge's sons. I mean, and it just threw up a red flag, and we don't need red flags. I mean, we just needed one attorney, and that's why I did that. And one other thing is, I'm the family guy, and I've got a big thing coming up during these cabin fever months. I'll be announcing at the next city council meeting for the entire city. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman Constant?
I just again want to acknowledge that Joyce Smith's mother, some of the other people from the neighborhood are here, and the tragic loss she suffered, and let her know that this issue is and the safety around our schools is always forefront in our minds.
Thank you, Councilman.
Council Chair?
Thank you, Katie, for being here with us. Councilwoman Breyer?
I don't know if everybody got one in their mailbox. It's not identified who it's from, but someone's complaining leaves, grass, snow in the road, and cars parking in the street, trash day when it snows. Garages being used as living spaces, trash cans in front or on side of houses, not in garage or yard. And I think he or she is referencing Rouge River Drive between Kennedy and Gully. There's only one sewer on each side. The leaves and grass are plugging the sewer. People travel with cars, rain and wind. The residents don't clean up from trees, and some put leaves, grass into the street. They didn't tell us who they are, what they want us to do exactly.
Councilman Ahmad?
I'm sorry, it's not a comment, just a request. If we can instruct the Corp Council to please update us with city policy regarding the business licenses, so we know exactly I mean, somebody has to follow that process too. Like, we have to check, like, every business, do they have a license? Are they renewing the license? This is a revenue that we're losing too for the city, so.
Yeah, Council Chair. When I do my announcements for the administration, I'm going to talk about what we're doing towards what
Thank you.
Councilman said.
Thank you, guys. Okay, any other council members? All right, next up, we have announcements. Yeah, please, go for it. Birthday boy. Next up, we have announcements from administration. You can stay up there. Actually, go up there. You look better over there anyways. Like, I want to actually see it. Maybe we could put you next to the clerk.
Yeah.
We can amend our relationship and you guys can start.
Actually, I would love to see him on the right, to be honest with you. I can't keep leaning forward that way. This way I can see him.
Can I talk? Thanks, Council Chair, and Roger Farina, Dearborn Administration, Corporation Council. I just wanted to announce that we have on the 31st, here at City Hall, we're starting a series of clinics, and this is on landlord-tenant issues as well as wills and estates, which will have lawyers talk to the citizens of Dearborn Heights and give free advice on issues that will affect, especially since the laws changed on landlord-tenants in December. So I invite everybody, I invite the City Council to find people who have issues, please have them come down. The next clinic we're looking at on February 21st is ordinance, and we're going to have it open to the citizens to raise ordinance issues for the City Council to let us know issues that they hear from the citizens on things that are not being followed through, and then address the permit issues or people if they're not following through with the certificate of occupancy. Okay. The other issue I've talked about is we're working on setting up our civic association. We're getting started with the lawyers to allow our commissions to raise money, like our planning commission and others to raise money to do different projects. I know one of the commissions had a problem getting money for Women's Day last year, and they were frustrated that we couldn't raise it, but this will allow us to be able to allow the commissions to raise money. And the last thing I would talk about is I've pursued over the last year looking at what we can do for our juveniles. And I've met with all the superintendents in all the schools. I've met with the middle school principals, high school principals. And one thing we do need is a juvenile court that addresses the needs of the students here in the schools. And they're having at least 10 incidents by reliance of our school service officers. So I had a meeting with Kim Worthy, a sit down with her. I had a meeting with Bob Heimbach and Hervé Jenkins that lead the juvenile court. And incidents of truancy, incidents of where there's fights in the school, but the prosecutor's office downtown can't decide who to charge. We're going to be using our courthouse to have them come in, as well as vaping and other issues that we hear. We're putting a list together of the charges. We will use our service police officers to assist us in this. I had a meeting with Robert Conrad and Ali Dib. We're going to use the students to help with the blight issues, the shoveling for our elderly, and other needs that come up within our community. We're also going to have a program, I think Dearborn had it a few years ago, I don't know if they still carry it, where we have students that can work with the unions in terms of carpentry, plumbing, for 6 months and get skills so they can come back and be positive in school. We've also met Mr. McKenna from the library, from the library.
Mr. McCaffrey.
McCaffrey, I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
We've met with a company called Beyond Basics, which has been around 25 years. They work with the Ford Foundation on reading. And from meeting with the schools, we would want these kids to go to, some of them have severe reading problems. We have a number, well under 67%, that are below our reading level in our schools. So this is a program, and Mike and I met at the library. I talked with his reading programs, which will allow, and they have a program for refugees or Arabic-speaking students to help bring up their reading level. So we're going to be moving on that program as well. And I think we would want those who can support us with the juvenile court. I know Tom has done a lot with juveniles and gone over what he's discussed with me. And we want to make sure these programs, these 5 programs, at least get started. And I hope you come on the 31st. And, one last thing. In terms of Councilman Ahmed and I have met several times on the safety issues. And we've looked at 3 companies to deal with social media, with a public safety campaign with digital film production, to have the students on the film talking about, this is my school. Please don't speed. Don't go through the stop signs. When you drop off, this is how you do it. So the proposals for a public safety campaign that produce a series of informational films on school safety, blight, DUI. We have actually the officer that won top in the state with drunk driving arrests for 2 years in a row. That's part of this. The films will be 15, 30, 60, 120-second formats. We'll have traffic safety, school safety, international videos with students explaining rules of the road around school grounds, including school bus signs, warning lights, school zone and speeding, double parking, observing posted speed limits. And citizens will be part of these films when we video. And I thank Councilman Ahmed for him and I sitting and talking, even somebody in Turkey that's from here working on this. And we take it seriously. And we want the citizens to know we take it seriously. And we've had the proposal, which we'll go over and present to you, as well as we look at other companies and their prices.
Thank you, Corp Counsel. That's a big step in gaining my confidence.
I'll keep it short, okay?
Yep, Madam Clerk.
Lynn Senya, City Clerk. Next Tuesday, January 30th, in this room, Precinct 8 will be voting. Actually, they'll be voting all day from 7 o'clock. I'm very tired. 7 o'clock till 8, okay? So you can't have a study session in this room next Tuesday.
We're not going to have one. I'm going to give you guys the day off.
Okay, well, now we're going to be here at 6 a.m.
I'm going to give Tom the day off for his birthday.
Okay. Happy birthday, Councilman. So this Saturday, we are open from 8 to 4 in the city clerk's offices for election business only. So anyone in precinct 8 can come and get their ballot. We'll be open for, we have already, we have the ballots for the presidential primary, which is February 27th, available in our office as well. Okay. We are still looking for election worker inspectors for the February 27th presidential primary. Days are long, but it's very rewarding. Contact us at 791-3430 and we can get you hooked up. Margaret, thank you for sticking with this. Katie, I'm sorry about Joey. Council, thank you for passing this. I know that's how I told Margaret, don't give up, okay? Because 25 years ago, well, I didn't lose my daughter, but there was a dear friend that got hit by a car. And enforcement is key. So make sure when this gets all done, that the enforcement is there. Because I bet you they reduced the school zone. We're in a school zone by Riverside. Goes down to 25 during school, a dismissal and arrival. I bet you 5 tickets maybe have been hit there in 25 years. So enforcement is key. You have to have the people to enforce if you do reduce the speeds.
Well, I believe there used to be a flashing yellow light.
That's how I got involved in this. I went to, it's still there.
At Riverside?
Yeah, I'm right by my house. Yes, I got that. That's how I got here.
Well, we want them across all of our schools.
But you have to have enforcement. You can't, it's double the fines in a school zone, right? Why wouldn't you have it there? And there was a lull when my kids went to school. There was a lot of kids going. That's why, I was there at the corner every day watching them. It's a 5-lane street. Then at Lowell, there wasn't so many. There's a lot of kids going to Riverside now, right, Najah? There's a lot of kids. I mean, you know, all around there. So it's very important that we do have this school safety. Okay, and Council Chair, you mentioned about emotions, okay? The emotions I saw tonight were good emotions, okay? And I love to see this. And this is one of the best meetings I've attended in a long time. Thank you, all of you, the council.
Madam Clerk, coming from you, it means the world, honestly. I don't know if you guys know this. Our clerk, Lynn Sinner, used to be my long-term sub when I was in high school. And she'd pull her hair out every time I walked into class. And then here I am sitting as the chair and she's the clerk. Who would have thought? Tom's like, what? Yeah, that really, yeah, so, yes.
Are we on announcements?
Yep, we're on announcements.
All right. I have three quick ones. Tomorrow night, Ecorse Creek, 6 p.m. at 3335 South Beach Daily. On January 25th, the location for the South Dearborn Heights Civic Association has changed for one time only. It'll be at the Justice Center, and that will be at 7 p.m. Ollie Deeb will be there to update us on a few things. And as you go into the building, you'll go to the room on the left-hand side. I can't think of the name of it right now, but that's at 7 o'clock. You've heard about January 31st, but there's also something Monday, January 29th, 5:30 to 7 p.m. You may see these floating around somewhere. It's about voting rights. It's a town hall at Dearborn High School cafeteria on West Outer Drive in Dearborn. And Aaron Burns will be there, and also our Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Councilwoman.
Really kind of nice.
Do we have any other any announcements from administration?
Hey, Council Chair, while Vince is walking up there, and I just want to acknowledge, Margaret King, I keep saying her name, so hi, Katie, Katie's there. But, she's a hockey mom. And, if anybody knows what a hockey mom does, is they spend all their time traveling. So for her to do the research that she does, and I'm sure her son, he plays most of the year.
Caleb,
yeah.
yep.
And so, to do what she does, that's a big accomplishment, and it goes unrewarded, and she's not looking for any kind of reward except, safety in our streets, and that's, my hat goes off to her and her husband too. Look at him, he's sitting there like,
Red Wings fan.
Thanks, guys.
All right, next up, we're going to start taking public comments. I am going to go with Zoom today first.
Okay.
I'm pulling the former councilman Abdullah's ritual, switching back and forth. So we're going to start off, I believe we have one man, Hassan Ayoun. If you want to go ahead, you got 3 minutes. Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street you live on.
Hello. Good afternoon, Council.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We got action.
This is Hassan Ayoun. I just wanted to tell you, your meeting went well. I haven't been coming to your meetings because they take long. And what we're doing, nice job. First of all, I got a problem, I filed a grievance against a police officer for misconduct. When I file what's it called, from October, we're in January today, and I have gotten no response from the police department. Chair, can you address who is in charge when a citizen files a complaint against a supervisor that's a detective? What's going on? Not understanding. Why haven't I got any response back?
Mr. Yoon, I'm going to have you ask me all the questions you have, and I'll answer at the end.
Okay. A grievance was sent because a police officer is not working with the victim. I was a victim in a case, and the police officer made sure that this victim got what he wanted. There was a violation of 100 violations, and I have to come to court, and Corporation Counsel knows about it. He's seen me over there. He's talked to me several times. You got to fix the court system. That court system, they want to sit there and silence the victim. They never subpoenaed me. They want to silence me. They don't want to give me any information. They want to cut deals. It don't work like that. if a victim is willing to prosecute somebody, you must comply to the victim, because there's a constitution for the victim rights that I am entitled to block the plea bargain for anybody. And what this detective did, I sat there and told them there was a violation of a bond on a writ. What he did, he failed to sit there and address the bond violation. I don't care if the guy's related to anybody. It doesn't matter. I'm a victim and I want to press charges, and the detective should be held responsible for what he did. It's that simple. There's a police report. I will be sending you, Council Chair, the report I sent, the grievance. So you'll find out what happened to my grievance. You must answer my grievance and tell me what the outcome of the grievance is. I'm not understanding. Other officers, you guys make sure to sit there and badger them. But an officer that's a detective, you guys don't want to do nothing? I don't understand this. It's not making sense. I have been patient, been waiting since October, and nobody has got no response from the
Thank you, Mr. Ewan. This is the first that I hear this. I will follow up via email with our police chief tomorrow to get a status and an update for you. I'm sorry that you're dealing with this. I'm sorry that this happened to you.
I already know what's the outcome. You want to know what the outcome is going to tell me? The officer did not engage in doing nothing wrong. It's like Dearborn. That's the same operation, Mr. Baidoon.
Mr. Owen, thank you so much. I promise you I'm going to look into it for you. Have an amazing night. Mr. Corp Counsel, can you look into this for Mr. Owen?
I've been receptive to, it's a state case and it's an ongoing case. It's not in my jurisdiction, but I will.
Just can we get an email? Can you follow up in an email for me that I can share?
I will follow up, but again.
Thank you so much. I want to get back to Mr. Owen. I don't want to get yelled at by
State
Mr.
county
Owen.
case, yes.
They know.
No, you give him 2 seconds. Go ahead. Mr. Owen, I'm going to give you 20 seconds to respond, but after that, I'm going to have to let your time go. I'm sorry, sir.
Roger, this has to do with a police officer. Please don't say under investigation like everybody. You guys got to have it under investigation. You must comply within 30 days of a grievance and tell the person what is the result for the cop. I'm not worried about the other guy.
Thank you,
I'm
Mr. Owen.
talking about the police officer, Roger.
I will talk to the state prosecutor tomorrow morning, and I know they have. It's a state case.
Mr. Owen, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cut you off here. I'm sorry, sir. I thank you. Next up, we have Mr. Dana Parrish. Madam Clerk, can you unmute him? Please state your name. Well, I said your name, but your name, the city you reside in, and the street you live on.
Grinley Park, Dearborn Heights, Council Chair Bayoun. Sorry about that. You should have seen what Councilwoman Malinowski Maxwell's nameplate said. I caught it, Bill. I caught it. I just want to let you know, Council Chair, that former Council Chair Abdullah and I were working on putting together a checklist that included the ordinance department on your checklist for building license renewals. And I know we got with the ordinance officer, and he's working, I think, with the city attorney as well. What I was kind of looking at was, not penalizing business owners, but for instance, when you have repeat offenders, you have to keep going back because they garbage in their yard and not complying with a number of, for instance, someone brought up the parking excess vehicles in a car lot and things like that. You have to keep going back over and over again. Do something like, instead of saying, oh, you can't renew your license, say something like, okay, we'll renew your license for 3 months, and do that so that they've got something hanging over their head. So now they know they've got to start complying with the laws and the ordinances in the city of Dearborn Heights. The second thing was, I think Councilman Saab brought up a couple of points about the Clemens system. And I wanted to hit on that because, as you may know, I work for the city of Dearborn Heights, or excuse me, the city of Taylor, I'm sorry. And we actually had an officer who was found to violate. And they don't call it Clemens, they call it LEAN, the Law Enforcement Information Network. And this officer was charged with and prosecuted for misuse of LEAN. and he was charged with several misdemeanors and a felony. So on top of the charges that he went to court for, he was also terminated. So there is a check and balance that you were asking about. They run, Lean runs monthly and quarterly reports, and those are checked by the department. And it's not just, where the vehicle is located or who, it's run on every officer by badge number. And it doesn't matter where you run them from. And it's got to be connected to something. So it can't just be somebody doing something that they want to do. So it doesn't matter where the computer is located. You just can't run randomly. Oh, I want to check Hassan Saab and see who he is and if he's been convicted of something. Can't do that. Thank you very much. Everybody have a good evening.
Thank you so much, Dana. Do we have anyone else on Zoom before I switch over to in person? Seeing none, Madam Clerk.
You said Madam Clerk, and she looked at you like,
Good.
what?
Then we're ready to start with taking.
Okay, Pam Swerple, Kenmore Street.
Thank you.
Question, the directors are being removed or no more pay as of effective tonight?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay,
It
so,
was effective.
It was effective.
The 9th.
okay, so who's going to take their badge, stop them from accessing the department and box their belongings up to give them to them?
State police.
I mean, we can reach out to the authorities. I think that's ultimately, I'll get with
And
Roger.
because the chief's on leave, per Act 78, Jake Hatton would then be chief. So Jake Hatton should be chief because Swope and Vanderplow are no longer employed here. So Jake Hatton should be temporary chief until Hart comes back. That's the way that it works. So that there's not chaos within the police department. Because he's next in line. Want to thank you guys for stopping the shenanigans. It's cost a lot of good employees to leave for better departments because of the mistreatment that this charade has caused. And I just want to reiterate that my husband has never met Corporal Counsel, and Corporal Counsel only met my son one time when you guys honored him for being an All-American wrestler, and he's never met my other son. So to confront me rudely outside the building, I think is inappropriate. I'm addressing all of you guys because it's not appropriate, and I don't want to hear a word from him. I want him to leave me alone. I want him to keep his mouth shut.
Point of
And-
order.
Okay, all right, well, I'm just saying because don't threaten my kids.
I know.
Don't bring up my children.
If somebody did something like that, file a police report.
Next time it will. So I appreciate you guys sticking up for the shenanigans that have been played, and hopefully it will heal the police department so they can move forward and get the respect that they deserve, because it's their reputation that's been ruined or attempted to be ruined for a long time. So I thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street you live on.
Mohammed Jani, Evangeline, Dearborn Heights. I was up here 2 weeks ago, and I'm up here again. I guess what I'm looking for is clarity regarding the safety of our children. There's a lot of hoopla and positiveness coming out of the new city council, but I'm still not understanding timelines. Our representative was here earlier, mentioned again the $10 million, and the fire station closed. And I took her outside and I asked her, can we keep the light up? And she referred back to the county and Beach Daily being the street. And I say, simple solution to a major problem is keep the light there, get rid of the fire department, because it has to be removed, and use it in the morning and in the evenings when the kids go to school in the morning and when the kids get out of school in the afternoon is a logical solution. I know it's easier said than done, but I'd like you guys to keep working towards a solution to that. I know you put a timeline by the beginning of next year for the kids.
August 31st.
Yes. That's a lot of money, like you said, but this stuff has to be, it's still dark out, you guys, and you know this, in the morning. I have 2 kids going to school. One walks to school, one gets bused to school. It's still very dark out, and this city does need to be lit up. On a different note, I came up with an idea a while back, and I mentioned it to a few people in regard to trees. I want to make a suggestion officially on the record. people who want to cut down trees, they got to pay a $350 fine or something like that. My suggestion is, why don't you make them plant 5 new trees in order to forego the money? And if somebody wants to chop down a tree, well, in order to do that, you're going to have to grow 5 new trees, depending on the size of the tree, maybe 10 new trees. So this will bring more, how should I say, what's the word I'm looking for?
Greenery.
Greenery, yeah, to the thing. So instead of, unless we need the money, which I think it would be more logical to make them responsible to put new trees around their homes instead of just cutting them down. That's a suggestion.
Thank
Have
you
a
so
good
much,
evening.
Mr. Jenny. Hello, sir. Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street you live on.
Jim Gowdy on Kingston Freeway. It's a shame with that school that they don't have police patrolling around there. It's terrible. 8 o'clock in the morning, 3:30. You're even afraid to go out on the street. But the thing I want to ask you about is they had a couple parties and they were going to do so much with the Van Born corridor. Bob Constant was at one of those deals at the school and they were, it was going to be beautiful. It was 7 or 8 years ago. Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
I remember it.
And there's like 4 new businesses that are going up there. And, you know, I don't think those people are going to stay. Van Born looks like hell. I don't think, you know, those businesses are, they're going to leave.
Sausage shop, of course, Van Born.
Freddy's, the sausage, there's a jewelry store.
There's a chiropractor just
The
opened up.
chiropractor, he's did a beautiful job on redoing that. It's beautiful. But the other thing is, whenever I need something or know anything about the city, I always call the city clerk's office. They know everything. They know the phone numbers. They know where to go to, who to talk to. And one last thing, I'd like to wish my friend Sue a happy 39th birthday.
Happy birthday, Sue.
Thank you, Jim. Next up.
Margaret King, Mayfair Street.
The city you reside in.
Dearborn Heights.
Sorry. For the clerk, it's not for me.
Thank you again, City Council. Thank you again, Mo. Thank you again, everybody, for pushing for this. Everybody, I want to thank everybody that comes up here and speaks at the podium regarding our children's safety. They are our future. Do you need me to stop?
No. You never even use half of your minutes anyways.
I made today because I have a lot of questions. Forewarning. So what happens if the school safety does not get solved by the date given? What would the administration, what's going to happen with that? I have a laundry list of things. I would like to sit down and have a meeting. I know there's been said about meetings. Call me. Most of you guys have my phone number. If not, you can get it from one of the other council members. Everybody has my number. Also, too, Sealand, it's still there. I got pictures. A good friend of ours lives in Detroit, and the mayor was talking about how he wants other grants. How many times have I stood at this darn podium and have said, safe route to school grant? They pay for crossing guards if we're having fund issues. That grant, and it's renewed yearly. The city of Dearborn has it. Check it out. Great. Safe route to school grant. Detroit. My good friend lives in Detroit. They got crosswalks. They got, I mean, there's things that can be done. I would like it done sooner. It's just not going to happen, but, yeah. I appreciate it, guys. And you'll
Margaret,
see my
honestly,
face
I'm
until it's
going to
done.
interrupt your time.
Go
Please
ahead.
Stop it for her.
I love you, Mo.
Stop it. Love you as well. I want you to know, honestly, working on that resolution, you and Katie and Joey, right, were constantly running through my mind. And I'm sorry. And if things don't happen, I mean, Everybody here that's sitting here is elected. Vote them out.
Is it you guys that hold the power, or is it somebody else that holds the power to get this done?
Well, we have just asked the administration on a deadline by
Wasn't
August
there a
31st.
resolution before when David Abdullah was sitting in that seat?
We have requested them. They've told us that they were doing studies between Ali Deeb and the police chief. I don't know how far or where that went.
Can we have a meeting? Can we make a meeting with all of us and get this done? Because a study session, thank you, Vince.
Not Tuesday, though.
Not Tuesday, no. And not Thursday, because Caleb's in that Thursday.
It would only be Tuesdays. I will get with the clerk and I'll put something
Please,
together.
because something needs to, I got a laundry list of things and I don't have all night and I want to get home. So I appreciate it, guys, and thank you so much.
Thank you. Please, next up, I believe your name is Vince. State your name, city you reside in.
Vince Trapkowski, I have to speak on behalf of the redhead. She left. She wants to know how many tickets or anything like that were written, or were there any ordinance officers out there ticketing for not removing your snow along the sidewalks? Probably not, but anyway, that was her question. Now, Vince Trapkowski, Columbia Street. Like Lynn was saying here, Ms. Senya, their city clerk, enforcement. We can't have enforcement without officers. So we need to hire a lot of officers so we can have the enforcement around these school zones. My recommendation, I've said many a times, we've need a grant writer. I don't know how many times I've said that.
For the Councilman Ahmad.
Also.
And the lobbyists in Lansing.
Yeah. Also, to help out with enforcement, I know there's a lot of people that want to go to school for law enforcement or anything like that, but why not make them cadets? Bring back the cadet program, start them out in dispatch, jailer, or even ordinance. Make them an ordinance officers. Our officers should be out there writing tickets as ordinance, because it does state that our officers are ordinance. They uphold the laws of the city. They can write an ordinance ticket as well. Also, I want to question you about the PEG fees. Our PEG fees are fees collected from the cable companies and all that. And we have a studio over at Berwyn. We have this new conference area, all from PEG fees. I want to make a resolution, or the council can make some sort of resolution to have our meetings, every single one of them, for Act 78, the commissions, and everything else that takes place, so we don't have any crap that was pulled on UMO. Record these meetings, keep the people informed, because a lot of people can't see these Act 78 meetings. They're in the morning. And all the other council meetings, the building meetings, the commissions, there's no reason why they can't be on the City 8 program or the YouTube program. So please consider that, if you would. I'm asking that again. Thank you.
Thank you, Vince. I appreciate you. Next up, please state your name, the city you reside in, the street you live on. I gotta memorize that, Madam Clerk, so I keep saying it.
Suzanne Ski on Culver.
Happy birthday.
Dearborn Heights, thank you. I was supposed to get a call back from you a long time ago, but it's okay about
Me?
this, about the child safety meeting on the 9th when I was here. I was here because of the children, right, I left my number with her.
I don't think I ever was I emailed it?
But anyway, it's okay, because I know that.
I will
listen,
take your
I'm
number
so
now and
busy.
call you tomorrow.
I'm so busy, but you answered all the questions today with all this, the child safety. I mentioned to you that we need lights because the kids are going to, somebody's going to get hit. It's dark and you can't see them. It's just really dark. And that doesn't even include the speeders. So, needless to say, I had two fast things I wanted to mention. One thing is I had to get a new water heater. And one of my concerns, I don't know if anybody, okay, I got my furnace and they said, the inspector said, okay, it has to be so high off the ground. And all these years I've sat here and I've looked and I've said, not one of them have said to me, they put the water heater right on the ground. Why is it that nobody, why is it that they will put the water heater on the ground, but yet your furnace has to be lifted? So, I mean, don't expect an answer now, but whoever our inspector is for that really just looked at it anyway. I mean, I'm a woman and I look at it and I go, why do they not, when I get my permit, because you got to pay for it, why do they allow it to sit on the ground in Dearborn Heights, out of all places? Right? Don't think we don't get water. So, okay, and the third thing is, I had my birthday party yesterday, and I told you I have a lot of grandkids. So anyway, it was snowing yesterday after school, but they all come over. And first of all, we have garbage cans that have been in my neighborhood for 3-4 weeks and have not been moved. So you know where those garbage cans are? When you go to when you pull up next to the curb, you got to let the kids off at the curb, right? Or do you let them out in the middle of the street? Well, the garbage cans are there. So really, that's just, ordinance has to do something. I'm just, it was dark yesterday, the snow was there, the garbage cans piled up, they go to get out of the car and boom, there goes the can, falls on the kid. Those are big cans.
Yeah,
That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you.
It looks horrible. The garbage cans they don't even get picked up or put away. So, thank you.
Thank you, Sue. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Quit rubbing it in.
Next up, sir, you're speaking as?
Well, I'm still just a resident at the moment until things are signed off. Gary Miotti, Plainfield Street, Dearborn Heights. Thank you for your vote of confidence.
Thank you, guys. Try to pause this time. Guys, nothing from the audience, please.
Okay. Thank you for the vote. We will do our best, and I'll try to make sure that I'm brief for you and for Councilwoman Malinowski Maxwell especially. I also wanted to mention that, there are some barbs that are being thrown my way. Out of respect for you, I'm not going to end up responding to those. But if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, any of you, no charge. Third thing, very proud of you as a council body. I've been coming here. I've been hearing a lot of things for quite some time. People a lot of times contact me. The fact that you've asserted yourself in the way that you have is extremely important and will have ramifications that are far more positive than I think you might otherwise know, especially among employees. And the final thing is, I remember when Lynn came over back during the Canfield administration, she and her two cohorts asking about things. So it's important to have people who are activists and who are interested in stuff. But one of the things you might not realize, and you probably don't realize, is that Mayor Canfield and I had to have meetings and I had to deal with the county in order to get that in, because they fought with us like crazy, especially their county engineer. And we finally had a meeting with Cam Preby in his incarnation as with Wayne County before he became the mayor again for Taylor. So recognize that sometimes it requires he was very helpful, but it required some pushing with the county. And sometimes some people haven't been as willing to push the county as maybe they should be. I'll just leave it at that. Thank you.
And former Mayor Dan Pletko was council chair at the time.
Any other residents? Please state your name, the city you reside in, and the street you live on.
Katie Smith, Detroit, Patton Street. I live on a street that has speed bumps. So I don't want to hear any more of, well, fire trucks, police cars. I now drive a truck that I used to drive a car. The speed bumps are speed bumps. Drive careful, drive slow. Now, mind you, a few months ago I was driving through Dearborn Heights at the corner where Joey was hit and killed at, and there was a child walking, wearing a red hoodie, black sweatpants. I made sure I stopped completely, triple checked before I left the the corner. Tell me why I got halfway down that corner and I couldn't tell you what color that hoodie he was wearing. And DTE refixed the light. So.
Sorry, Katie.
I mean, it happens. Here we are a year and a half later. You guys finally were able to get the school safety grant, which thank you. I appreciate that. Now let's keep it kicking in motion.
We will.
Thank you.
Good evening, Zuhair Abdelhaq, 354 Rosemary.
The new look, look at the beard.
Yes. First, I want to thank you, Councilman Ahmed, for the resolution, and I thank the council for recognizing my friend for 30 and some years, Faye Awada.
I thought you were talking about yours.
She was a great lady. I known her. She was the most loyal person I known in my life. I could tell her any secret in my life, and she never shared it with anybody in the last 32 years. So I thank you for that. Second thing, the ARPA money. There is $10 million, as you know. We used 2.2 in the general fund in year 2022 because of the lost revenue at that time because of COVID. We had $7.8 million left, and I wonder if the mayor is capable of hiring BLN and give him $1.35 million to tell us how to spend the ARPA money. I think he can spend $600,000 on the safety of our children. Look where this money is, ask the treasurer, and follow up to make sure that it's not spent in the wrong places. That's all I can ask you, and thank you. This is a beautiful night for the city. Thank you.
Not seeing anyone else in the audience, motion.
Council Chair, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Councilman Ahmad, seconded by Councilwoman Menalowski Maxwell. All in favor, please state aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have.
Yeah.